Good afternoon, good afternoon. For the people, by the people. We're right back here. Brother Sariang, Pap Samba. Bro, I have to say this. It's been a while. I haven't seen you live and direct. What's up with that? You've always been behind these, you know? What's up? Good to see you, though.
Yeah, I know. Same here, man. Being at the plantation, I've been away, man, for five weeks, from home.
Yes.
So finally back,
Okay,
it's
because
good.
I think the last time I saw you, this was way before I went to Gambia, I believe.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yep.
since I got back, I haven't been able to see you. I mean, you heard me talk about that Gambia is on the move, and my brother Marong was getting, agitation about that.
Rightly so.
So that has become the phrase of the moment, Gambia on the move. But again, good afternoon to our viewers. Second day of Ramadan Mubarak to all of you. And like my Wolofs would say, door nañ ko ci bismillahi rahmani rahimi, yal nañ ko jeexal ak ci alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Liñ ci séntu yëpp yal nañu ko yàlla may. Suñ aji jiitu gi, especially the ones that are in the same vacation that we are in. We can think about Kejau Ture. It wasn't too long ago that he passed away. Last Ramadan, he was here with vigor, with his advocacy and fighting to bring about change. A whole lot of people going all the way back for the last 15, 20 years. People that are in the same vacation with us, they are no longer here with us today. And we want to take a moment.
And sad.
ñu ñaanal leen ñoom tamit yàlla wàcce yërmande ci ñoom in this sacred month of the Ramadan. And yàlla mun na ko yàlla def. Brother Marong, you're looking pretty fresh, my brother, and I like your outfit. Are you here to outcompete me? I thought I was coming from Gambia with all this beautiful outfit, but here you are, pounding right back. I'm like, my brother. Man. I see. Oh, no, I know Jainaba was in the Gambia. Jainaba. That's it. That's the secret weapon.
Yeah, get Nagalatuna, sorry, and what you'll Esai Jawla. When Musa Jeng, you think English is the language that we're gonna speak in speak it on the day of judgment.
Jawla.
No. Yeah, no, Sarian.
Jawla, Ramadan Mubarak to you.
Sarian, I gotta say this, man. You also have married up, definitely. like they say, because now since they're going to that New York and coming back, that's a different Sarian, man. But you know what? That's so good, man, my brother.
Musa, coach rolled the template this morning, though. He followed your footsteps,
No, I've been watching, I've been observing, man. But most young and why do you think people that really need prayers are the seconds and the gains? To be able to muster the courage and fast the whole month. They remind me of that guy that was yet again or muneko det lolu opana def ñun talbe se naka wañu the Senegalese guy who was and ko ba digen or muneko det lolu mom motita opana def ñun talbe naka la turan sa bay fali waaw c'est Ibra Fall kenn ku ko top do naka talbe bi
c'est Ibra Fall
waaw c'est Ibra Fall
muneko ñun ci ndigal rek lañuy wéy
waaw good to be back, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Ramadan is starting. I mean, we're getting there. Second day. I mean, yesterday was okay. Today also, we're hanging in there.
Tukulor even Sari and Lafambi is different from Nekon.
Oh, there you go. 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 Sister Tukulor. She's also on the bandwagon this morning.
Bugel never hell.
Allahumma bellaqni Ramadan Tukulor. No, I said Sister Tukulor. I take that back.
And Sister Tukulor, I also believe that I owe her Balma Ake Tukulor.
Because all the stuff you've been doing.
And I saw some very Tukulor, I saw some very great tributes written. I think Hassan Jibril wrote one today, and I think Alaji Yoro wrote another one about her. And definitely, she's more than deserving of that, because I'm got Tukulor mom. It's one of those very passionate people, have always been, very easygoing, absolutely nice human being, and did so well for Gambia, and definitely your mom can amut sa fay. I'm just glad that they're giving you your flowers while you can read them, because I think sometimes it is absolutely important for people who do quite well for our country. Because we are a culture where we wait being fiji ku nekk door ribinda. Well, I think sometimes if we can just at least be celebrating people and for what they did. Guy ne wax sa mbaxi morom wañu dara ci sa mbax. Is it something like that? So I'm glad that they did that. Anti Tukulor stanga suma sister bi.
Wow. And you know what's Alaji Yoro, he has a way with words. I mean, he's an extremely good writer. Yeah. So I'll definitely go there and read it. Hassan Jibril has been doing that a lot though.
Oh yes.
Pop Samba.
Oh yes. And I like that. Basically. And I like that.
I mean, he's been
definitely. Yo, Mr. Musa, we write something. We write something about you. Waka Wurbi. By way of James Senegal. Guy Italy 80, Kondorom.
Guy Italy 80, no doubt. And talking about that, the passing of Bocho Pasamba.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's
and we're going to extend our condolences to Bocho. He was a hell of a midfield player.
Yep.
Real de Banjul with his lanky self. Bocho was something else. A soccer enthusiast.
He was good.
For Bob Marley, I believe.
Bob Marley la nekon, and then Newetan, and then played for Real. And Bocho they are very misleading. Because you see them and they are built, you will not think that even they can play football.
Exactly.
Yes. But he was good, and it's really sad that we've also lost him. But again, I always tell people, I think it says a lot about us, because sometimes you even forget that you're old. But when you look around the mountain and that side, so it's our generation that are dying, because we are yet said generation Musa. Because
Manago Monday Musal Machisala with it. I was talking to a friend of mine. I sent a text to a friend of mine, basically telling her, Nego, with my young self, whenever keep fooling yourself. It's like keep fooling yourself, But Pop Samba, I don't think we can dive into this program without talking about what happened at the White House. Bro, I gotta say, man, there was a part of me that was angry, but at the same time, there was a part of me that was really happy that Brother Zelensky did not back down. He did not. He took the fight to them, especially when he looked at Vance. Vance with his, I can't even believe him trying to say, well, we're talking about diplomacy. And the guy was like, okay, have you ever been to Ukraine? What is so diplomatic about? What is diplomacy about that? And he got offended. Oh, you're coming here to disrespect us. I'm saying, what does he say? Don,
Don't look at me. I didn't vote for him. You know. I saw this lady came.
I was like, it is just unbelievable how this man was basically, you're talking about a leader of people, a president of a country. You have to treat him with respect. It's a question of reciprocity. You want to be treated with respect, you have to do the same thing to the individual. Kooku njiit la dafa ñëw representing Ukraine. Come on now. You be berating him, putting him down, telling him, you shut up. You know Trump and the way he talks. I'm like, thank God it wasn't Pastor that was
No. I would have told him to go F himself. I'm serious. And you see, the thing is, like they say, you elect a clown, you get a circus. And just what it is. Trump is an idiot. What's his name? Vance is this guy Vance. So they gave marketed that. Moy Vance. This is the same Vance who wrote. Do you remember when he wrote that book calling Trump all these things? In fact, the only thing that he didn't call him was Hitler.
He called him
everything in the book. But then when it came to Hamga psychophancies, ñun dañ japp sax Gambia si. The city guys of the world, ñu ngi America face fidel. And those are the
I told him the same thing.
Yeah. These people have no principles whatsoever.
Nothing.
And I am just so glad. And you know what's happening to these Americans? Trump is not doing any good for America. If Trump is doing, by his action, I think he has really reduced America's respect in the world. And I am so glad that Europe came together and said, you know what? We are standing with you. And I'm glad that this guy just called his bluff. You cannot come and tell somebody, you know what, you're going to sign a deal, you're going to give us 50% of your natural. What the F is that? This idiot of a man that they call Trump, this orange-faced, racist, stupid dumbass, and with any morals, nowhere, no ethics in him. Who is Trump to lecture to anybody about anything? And the hypocrisy. This thing, Nakala Kukutura, Netanyahu, I don't even want to, you praise that. These people, America has become a joke because Americans chose to elect a jokester as their president. And that's just what it is. And you know what? For the next 4 years, they would suffer the consequences of this foolishness. And when I see Africans talking about what Zelensky, what the hell did Zelensky do? This man was attacked by another rogue, dangerous criminal in Putin. How many KGB what they have on Trump? But it must be a lot. I've never seen an American president kiss a Russian president's ass as much as like Trump is. I'm serious. But anyway.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And, what I can tell is it takes a lot of courage to come to the Oval Office and push back and stand your ground. So, I mean, a KGB cult who has killed, I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, who is the aggressor? He could not, no one can trust him. And I think Zelensky, you got to give it to him. He has a language barrier, but was able to stand there and convey his thought. And yes, I'll be in the same position. I'll be agitated, especially if my fellow countrymen, children, women are killed. And someone called me a dictator, when the aggressor is on the other side. And I'll feel the same position, and I think it's rather unfortunate. If people think that they sympathize, I've seen a lot of reactions on Facebook. You gotta look at deep and understand the foreign policy of this country. They're not calling these folks allies for absolutely nothing, right? So if you look globally, how United States military and other folks are stationed elsewhere, people keep saying he's going to jeopardize the security of. That's the reason, because they need those folks out there to maintain. How many bases are in Germany, and elsewhere, even Italy and all that. So you have to balance these things and understand. And it's just not it's improper because I think as a sitting president and vice president, they got full-blown intelligence briefing every single day. They know exactly the ins and outs of it. So getting out there, berating him, asking why he didn't wear a suit. A freaking guy comes to the White House every freaking day, doesn't wear a suit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who
So
cares anyway? Wearing suit.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
So petty and nonsensical.
Ñoradi lañ def. Suma waxe Musa Jeng
and this is where things get little right after he got out of here. He flew to London, and
Right.
he was given first class escort and everything, assurance that, if there is a vacuum, someone needs to pick it up. And this notion that this country, pledges more, it's just not true either. So, I mean, you look at, yes, America contribute more, but if you tabulate and count all the European countries, there are more. I mean, and the fact that you sit down there and tell the guy, okay, that is not a grant, it's a loan. The Congress passed it. They put it in the appropriation bill and pass it. So who are you to reverse that trend to? I mean, it is just ongoing, and people just, everyone is rattled. All the think tanks, all the foreign diplomats who've been out there making sure that they work with their alliance, and you need these folks, to be honest with you. If you're gonna fight terrorism, all these things, you need these folks on your side. You need intelligence sharing. All that stuff is critical, So I don't know whether that's the way to go, man. But one thing is, I think his country was very, very concerned that he was ordered here to come and sign and give those minerals away, and that didn't happen. And and I think he stood his ground. Don't succumb to bullying. No one wants to be bullied.
No.
Despite you got to walk away with more dignity.
It was a show for Putin. This was why they allowed the Russian national TV to come and cover the thing. For the first time, it was like, okay, Putin, we're going to give. I don't know what the KGB has on this guy. This is unbelievable. So it was, and this is the thing. And who in their right mind would have such a negotiation in public with the cameras listing?
But there is one thing, one angle though, Musa, that I think everyone needs to that camera, that's whole spectacle before the cameras plays right into the sentiment. They wanted to play and kind of poison the minds of American people, right? Because majority still support Ukraine. This whole misinformation about Zelensky turning that aid and buying luxury stuff and all, that's a misinformation. That's a propaganda by the Russians. And that whole thing, that whole spectacle plays in, because still now, when I look at the polling that came out today, about 52% still support Ukraine, and he doesn't have the backing still. So he wants to play this thing that, this man's coming here, we're giving him all the money and all that stuff. He turning this into a personal fortune, and I think that is very, very unfortunate. And you look back to the history, Musa, you all know this. Why do you think their power shrink up to today, right? They convinced the European Union and here convince Ukraine to give up their nuclear power, right? So that was the whole thing, and then
that itself was a mistake.
Yeah. So I mean, but you say 4 years with all the power and the might that Putin has, still now the man is sticking to him, and he couldn't even win the war decisively. That's something that you need to pick up from these things, but.
The other issue also, America used to represent something. I mean, going all the way back to World War II, America was seen as, and I hate to say this, in as much as they've done really bad things, but when America speaks, whether it's in the Middle East, people listen. The most powerful country in the world, they talk about defender of democracy. I mean, I hope there was a role, the respect that they have. I mean, and that's the honest to God truth. When I listen to Marco Rubio, I am so disappointed with Marco. basically talking about if there is only one person that can bring peace in Ukraine, is Donald J. Trump. I'm like, dude, the only thing that Donald J. Trump, any idiot can do that. Donald J. Trump is basically telling Putin, I can bring peace. You can keep Crimea. You can keep Eastern Ukraine. Europeans can do that and they'll find peace. It's easy. So for you to think here that this is something, a bragging right, that Trump is the only person that can bring peace. The only reason why Putin is even listening to him is because some of the things that he is saying. You remember Neville Chamberlain, the guy that walked into Germany, appeasing him? The Brit? That's basically the role that Trump is playing. Sidekick, like Pasama said. I don't know what the KGB has on him. The guy is a transactionalist. Pasama, you're talking about a transaction. He is the biggest one. Trump doesn't even care about the Soviet Union or Ukraine. It's all about him. What I can do.
Extortion.
Why does he even keep bringing Biden? I've never seen this in my life. Really. You having a president of another country in the White House, and here you are disrespecting your predecessor. Basically saying, Biden was dumb. Obama, that's the kind of language. And unfortunately, it has worked for Trump. He believes, and he's going to continue to do that as long as the American people keep supporting him. I saw a poll yesterday, 74% of Republicans, they're with him. 74. Only 25% has a problem with the way he's handling this Ukraine issue. That says a lot. Go to the Senate or the House. Very few of them. Sometimes we go our African leaders. There are a lot of senators. Lindsey Graham. Oh my God, the guy doesn't have core or spine. The Lindsey that I used to know. John McCain's friend, the Maverick.
Oh yes. John McCain is one person that you miss in this.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
At least he had core beliefs. But again, it is what it is.
It's all about Ginga saying Senate Lindsey Graham. He wants to be a senator and continues to be a senator.
Yep.
To be a local champion, the attention, you are a senator. He doesn't want to lose that. If he were to change his rhetoric, they'll put a candidate against him in South Carolina and he'll be long gone. He will be nobody. Nobody will even put a mic in front of his face. They are no different with our African leaders. Befriend the status quo to get themselves a ministerial position. They are no different. I can tell you that. It's all about power, influence, and what's in it for me. It's Lindsey Graham. He is so disgusting. But it is what it is. And we still have to deal with this guy for 4 years. And Pasamba, you're going to be in front of the TV on Tuesday, the State of the Union.
Which I didn't even know it was happening. I'm not watching that. In all honesty, I did not even know that they are going to. I don't watch Trump. The only time I watch anything Trump is when people make fun. I cannot, I'm Musa, that's why you call me intolerant. No, I'm not going to waste my time watching an idiot give a speech. And I don't care what you are. Be the president of China, I don't care. I'm not going to listen to Trump.
Can you imagine having to listen to this guy for 2 hours? I'm not going to watch him.
He is going to, and they're going to write the he's just, when they declare America English is the official language. It's just like this. So that's the new thing now. This new.
No, I Banaji Spanish. Then why?
What about your fellow Africans?
Huh?
The Muslims, you have them in Michigan. So you can only blame those people.
Every day, my Kaslen fi Banaji nyom.
Hey, even one demographic people don't even talk about is the Indians. I mean, they are predominantly. I'm telling you, man. Our folks they support over, but man, he got them, put them on 130, C-130, 2 planes, chained them by a 14-hour flight down there, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I mean, your boy Del, sometimes I think that he has a soft spot, whether it's an anti-West sentiment. None of us is in support of America and some of the things that they do, or Europe for that matter. But and Del, I've been following his writings. I think you have a soft spot for this whole thing that the truth of the matter is none of the, let me put it up there. Fatenasa. Let me put it up there. People supporting Ukraine and care about Ukraine. I think the Europeans do. I think Poland or Estonia or Latvia, they know exactly, or Lithuania, they know exactly, the Baltics, why they are supporting Ukraine, because they know them. If it's Ukraine today, tomorrow is going to be Estonia or Latvia or Moldova or Georgia. That's what at stake. It's not about these people. All they want to do is exploit the resources of Ukraine. I don't seriously believe that. I don't think that Europe is in it to exploit. They're not in it with Ukraine because of that. They know Putin, the aggressor. They know what all this is about. Today is Ukraine, tomorrow is Moldova. So I don't know, bro, what you're talking about. It was never a principle or values. It's all about economics. I think it's bigger than economics. Seriously. Maybe for Trump, it's all about economics. Maybe. But really, Del, I think you got this one way wrong.
To me, the worst thing that you can do is try to excuse the criminality by Putin and try to reduce it to, because of his economics. No. You cannot just go and just kill people, needlessly. And then we try to explain away why you decided to do that. Come on, man. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. I mean, the reason why they're all there, if you understand.
Talking about you and your accent, not me, because man, my Gambian accent is better.
Accent, British accent, the way you guys talk.
I mean, the guy has been even when they had that deal, he never played by the rules. All his opposition figures, he went after them, he killed them. He's a KGB thug, and it's just that these countries knew what is next. And I think that's why they coalesce around Ukraine and this whole thing about, he needs to calm down. What does he need to calm down? When a good leader, when your folks are dying, you need to be out there. And especially someone who basically thinks every single thing around this world is a deal, extortion. Do my way or the highway. Get your fingerprints on this thing. Do it now. You know what? We've seen, the European countries, they responded. And I think that's what leadership is all about. We just cannot contend. And this notion, we all need each other one way or the other, right? So, this whole thing that if you look at the present, from Japan to Germany to Korea, everywhere, huge bases, Singapore, all these areas, you need host country. If you're there, a number of like 3,000 or 4,000, you need the host country in terms of your free flow and all that. And I think Zelensky was very smart when that whole thing didn't go well. The speeches that he needs to do, he canceled all that stuff because there is a lot of security risk attached to it when you go out there, put yourself, in front of camera or giving a speech when you had that type of ruffle, at the Oval Office. So I think he stood his ground and he needs to press on. That's all it is, Yeah.
And what is funny, when I read on Facebook, some of our African brothers, people that basically are supporters of term limit, very critical of Africans being in power, whether it's the guy in Cameroon, Jammeh being there for 22 years. And here you have a guy. He's been the president of Russia since when? For the longest ever. And somehow people have a soft spot for them. You got to be consistent. You are either a supporter of democracy or you're not. But somehow, and that's the problem I have with some of these commentators, really. Putin was the one, the aggressor. It's just like Senegal moving into Farafenni, Aksaluma, Kourieb, Djelkone. This is part of Senegal, historically, and bring a map. I bet you we will be here. We'll be all over them. That's what these Ukrainians, that's what happened to them. Let's bring it closer to home. They know Jelsen Landi. Let me do that so that Chongan will not do you accuse of American accent, baby. Then Nangu Sen Land. And that's what this thing is all about.
One day most, I cannot support anybody. You see why I don't deal with that guy in Rwanda? I don't care who you are and how great you are. The moment you change constitutions and try to entrench yourself, I'm done with you. Period. That's just what it is. So we cannot romanticize this whole thing. And who is Putin? Putin is nothing but a thug. And that's what he's been. That doesn't mean that America has its problems. Yes, it does. And that's why when it happens, we call them out for it, protest against it. But giving Putin a pass, he's a thug.
He's definitely a thug.
Kills his opponents. They would find his way, poison you to death. That's what he's been doing. Or put you in jail. How many of his opposition listing are in jail or killed?
I mean, the guy that just got murdered, what was his name? The main opposition guy that get poisoned? I forgot his name.
Yeah.
I mean,
he does that every time.
This is a guy, I mean, I don't see how anyone can really, no matter how you feel about the West, and God knows the West has done a lot of bad things, horrible things, going all the way back to slavery. And I get that. But let's call this for
Iraq and all these other places. And people call them out for that.
And you know, the Europeans, at every turn, when the September 11 happened, they were with him. They went into Iraq. You remember the first Iraq war, Kuwait, Walker Bush? I mean, the Europeans were with the Americans. I'm telling you, in Afghanistan, their people were there dying, defending America. So for that, and I think it was Fatou Camara that was basically saying that. And I'm like, look, I mean, be fair with the Europeans. Really. As far as NATO is concerned, they haven't wavered. America hasn't. America happens to have an idiot for a president. And that is why all of a sudden, their foreign policy is all over the place. You can't even put a finger on it. I mean, what's the geopolitical strategy for America today? Ken Munulokowa, Mota Nyom Marco Rubio, I mean, Secretary of State, he's all over the place. There was a Marco 3 months ago, he's totally dancing to a totally different tune when you listen to him.
Marco, you mean little Marco, the one that Trump insulted?
No, Musa, you even forgot. As recent as the fires in California. You know, I don't know whether you were following, but you know, Canada dispatch their helicopters. Yes. These helicopters have a capability of descending at sea, filling it in, and just help them put. Even Mexico sent some firefighters too as well, because Canada came to the aid. So this is what you call alliance, right? Allies, okay. And you know, so it's not, you know. I know what I know, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to wish-wash and think. You know, the fact that you sit down on intelligence, but we get a whole picture of, and this whole thing about Putin has like nuclear power, man. I'm not gonna sit and talk about that kind of stuff here. You know, I think it is what it is, but you know. I think, as you said, Marco Rubio, the reason why he has a bipartisanship, you know, because people think that he would be there where he says, you know what, we can't do this.
Oh no,
my boss, let's come to our senses. Let's work with these folks. No. I think, but no. I mean, the Kool-Aid, man. He freaking drink the Kool-Aid. That's what it is, man.
They're all the same. Nothing. I mean, you give them a job, I'm telling you, they're dancing a totally different tune. Anyway, I don't want to bring, I know that it's Ramadan, and I don't want to get Brother Marong all excited. I was going to talk about a little bit about Doge, the OG, Department of Government Efficiency.
You can talk all you want about him. I mean, I'm not gonna comment because I'm in the month of Ramadan. Because I don't want to see work.
No, you did say energy, and you have a lot of hours before doc. So don't allow. I'm not gonna go get into the trenches with someone who is being spoon-fed and freaking came to this country like an immigrant. I serve and I continue to serve, right? A freaking billionaire who cannot tell me what I need to do on a day-to-day basis. So absolutely, it's ridiculous at every point. That's it.
All right, I guess we gotta shift gear, pivot to Gambia. But before we do that, let's visit with our partners. They were with us. It's second day of Ramadan. Hey, buddy, I don't want to go to Bronx. Ramadan, buddy, but I would know.
Welcome to Kid Aisha Restaurant. We are located at 1460 Boston Road in the Bronx. We are open 7 days a week from 1 to 12 a.m. We serve Senegambian food and American soul food on Wednesdays and Senegambian food all 7 days. We do dine-in, we do takeout. We serve chevijin, cheviapa. We do mafe, we do plaza, we do ebe every other day. We have yassa ganat with rice, super kanja with white rice and fufu. We serve a lot of delicious foods. For dinner, we do dibi, chicken dibi, penta, whole chicken. We have shawarma, lots of good food. Also offer catering services for weddings, baby showers, birthday parties, whatever you need, we got it here at Kid Aisha. You can call us at 718-450-8606. And we're also on Uber Eats. And if you've ever been to Kid Aisha, make sure you leave a review. Thank you guys for supporting, and we hope to see some new faces.
Thank you for supporting us every Sunday.
New World International in its work to educate and sensitize overburdened communities regarding environmental justice. The meaning environmental justice is the idea that everyone should have equal protection from environmental risks and harms and equitable access to a healthy environment. NWI believes people should be meaningfully involved in decisions that affect the environment and human health. Here are some things you can do to help protect the environment. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Volunteer for cleanups. Conserve water. Shop wisely. Use long-lasting light bulbs. Plant a tree. New World International in collaboration with the Washington State Department of Ecology will help provide training and equipment to help document and end environmental abuses. If you have any questions, contact New World at www.newworldinterantional.org.
Thank you, New World. Thank you, New World, for the support. We've been doing it for this is the second year, and they are talking about the environment, protecting our environment. Stupid, it's important.
Welcome to the Gambia, a country with a rich tradition in tourism and a beacon for investors. Experience a nation committed to progress. A home where nature's beauty is matched by the warmth of its people. A nation that is fast-growing and developing, thriving for togetherness. At the heart of this development is the Global Properties, the Gambia's premier real estate developer, introducing you to our latest property being developed, the Lakeview, an epitome of luxury and comfort. Whether you are looking for a residence or investment property, Lakeview is the ultimate option. The Gambia is not just a place to live, it's a place to thrive. Welcome home.
Thank you, Global Properties. Pop Samba.
Yes.
What's happening in the Gambia? Issues all over the place.
You tell me, Father Mose.
You've been behind the scenes.
Since Gambia is on the move, Father
Gambia is on the move.
Yes, please lay down. What is happening?
The only thing that is on the move. The only thing that is on the move in the Gambia are the big bellies of those that are in power. And I can guarantee you that the overwhelming majority of Gambians, especially during this Ramadan, Musa, and you know this, we all know this, are now suffering massively because this is when all the prices go up, and this is when you are expected as Borom Kir to be able to provide for your family. You know, because normal days, we do that. But where record is a different thing. And the overwhelming majority of Gambians who happen to be Muslims, I know will be suffering massively because first, they don't have the income. And second, even if they have the job, they are not paid living wages. And like you heard Imam Babali the other day was making that argument on coffee time. And I think it's a very strong argument that it doesn't make sense that somebody makes 500,000 a month. That's your take
Yes.
home. Well, the person who is driving you or the person who is protecting your life is making about 3,000. You know, something needs to happen. What it is, I don't know. But the selfishness with which that they continue to rule that country, I think needs to change, Musa. Because unless that changes, it doesn't matter. The poverty in that country is massive, and the lack of opportunities are greater. Because when you have poverty, and then the opportunities are there for the average, Joe to be able to make a living, then you can say, well, there is a silver lining. But if the opportunities are lacking and the poverty continues to grow, then we have to look at ourselves again, our governance system. So the Gambia is definitely not moving. At least not to the direction where Gambians, can say, what, we can live a better life.
Bob Samba, sometimes when one makes a statement, when I came back and I said Gambia is on the move, and I know that our country, we have become so political that everything is 10 people see it within that prism. All people were hearing from me was, oh, the government is on the move. The government is developing Gambia. The government is making the difference. No. Actually, and I said it, xam nga nit ñi dañoo dégg sa wax ñu jël ci liñ bëgg jël. I said government is the problem. Government actually moom moo nekk ci it's in the way.
The impediment.
Exactly, they are the impediment. What I saw in Gambia is people waking up 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, when you go to that turntable, hardworking people. What I saw in the Gambia is a construction industry that is out there. What I saw in the Gambia, that is service that is out there. A country that has potential. In the right hands, with the right leadership, we can take that country to the next level. You are absolutely right. Imam Babali said it. Where it comes down to income distribution. Dekabo hamne. You have this, we always say that even during the time of the Fourth Republic. If you have a wide gulf between the haves and the haves not, it's just going to be a matter of time. There's going to be a problem. So any serious government would seriously look into that. Am I going to take a permanent secretary and give him 2 cars or a car, a driver, high salary, with all these allowances, and then the driver and the policeman cannot even afford to buy a bag of rice? It's a problem. Any serious government will deal with this income distribution. This is the amount of money taxpayers that we get every year. How do we distribute it? What do we value? But it comes down to one thing. And people are not stupid. I said here, the political class, they know if you want to make it big and be comfortable, to be able to have a nice house, you have to join that political class. How do you do it? You speak the language of the government of the day. No lenje sedale. If you don't speak their language, you're not going to be part of the class. And then, of course, you have the business class. And even with them, they have a problem with the government. They will say it behind doors. They will never come out and tell you what's wrong with this country. Because if they do that, they will compromise Nyom Tamit. The gravy train that they are on. They're the ones enjoying. And then you have the civil servants. When we talk about corruption is endemic, these are the people, the managing directors. They want to look the other way. Everybody is in it for themselves. It's a survival game. When I say Gambia is on the move, and somebody was teasing me and said, this guy came from Gambia and all he's talking about is a crane. Dude, 2 years ago, Pasamba, 2-3 years ago, when I came and I told about Senegal and what Senegal was doing, I used the same analogy. And I said, when I saw the cranes, I'm like, wow, the economy is booming. And I said, I've never seen crane in the Gambia. But this time I did. It's not like the government yoke over in the day. Private entities, people are doing that. I'm seeing cranes. Then that means the economy is on the move. Don't think me by saying that I'm legitimizing the government of the day. I'm not. All I was doing is giving an observation, landlagis, and the potential. Why? So you want to don't get out of the way because of your politics. Hey, you see this Musa Jeng, hey, coming here, we know what he's up to. Maybe he went there, they're going to give him a job. That's why he's saying... It's not there. All of us are like the Dr. Caesars of this world. We are going to say things to appease the president so that we can become a minister. They would know. They are not like that. We have the Alaji Usainu Dabo for almost since 1996. The man hasn't wavered. Principle. Omar Amadou Jallo, up to his grave. When PPP people, them join Jammeh, he stood his ground. Being tortured, he stood his ground. Ngor am nañu ko am. You have the Halifa Saleh since the 80s. He's as constant as the Northern Star. Amna Gambian yo hamne, they have character. They believe in something. Not all of us are just bunch of opportunists. They may would know there are good people. But you know what's unfortunate though? The majority of us are not interested in them. We are interested in people that don't have character. We are interested in people. That is why we keep choosing them and keep complaining. Brother Maron, I'm getting hot.
Well, I'm glad you are clarifying. You clarified today. I mean, that's not what you said 2 weeks ago. I mean, come on, we all listen. Yeah. I'm glad you put more meat on the bone today. You know, saying I'm talking about the average Joe, the average Gambian who is a hard worker. Because I mean, 2 weeks ago you were like, I went to turntable, I can't recognize Gambia anymore. The people, they were foreigners. That's what you said. We're not suffering from amnesia, man. I'm telling you right now. We know exactly what you said, okay? But I'm glad today you clarify. You know, you was talking about the people. The people are on the move, right? They are getting out there doing what they're supposed to do. You know, there's a young man here. I don't know. His name is Tamba. He says, you three, what do you guys have done for Gambia besides criticizing that benefits the youth? So maybe you should invite him to come and talk to us. That way we can have a good dialogue. We want to hear from everybody, so he can ask us directly. Then we can have a conversation. But yeah, I'm glad. I mean, the country folks are working hard, and it is what it is. You know, we are all here working hard. You know, doing our different contributions, but you know. At least, you know, I think we're all fighting. None of us, you know, think that Gambia, you know, could not be on a different path. I think we all have hopes.
Somebody is challenging you, Samba and Sariang. Omar Tamba. He said, "Oh, that's the one we're reading, right?" Earlier,
yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm reading. You know,
and what investment has any of you done in the Gambia that have changed the lives of just 3 people?
None.
I mean, Omar, that's always a good question. What have we done to change the lives of the youths? You know, Samba, you want to take a stab at that?
Well, I'm going to learn more interesting sometimes when people talk like this. I was not entrusted with $52 billion of our money to change the lives of Gambians. The government was elected into office. And every year, the Gambian people will give that government money that it is supposed to utilize to better the lives of the Gambian people. This year, $52 billion, wahama million, $52 billion was given to the Barrow government to ensure that the lives of the youths are enhanced. If Gambian youths do not have employment, it's not the responsibility of Coach or Musa Jeng or Tukulorsi or Sariang to give them employment. Yes, you may have your business and employ whoever you want to employ, But that is the job of the government. If the Gambians do not have electricity, that is not my responsibility or the responsibility of any ordinary citizen. It is the responsibility of the government, which got the mandate from the people to act on its behalf. If people are dying in the seas, our young people, for lack of opportunity, you think that's any single individual's responsibility? It is the government's responsibility. So sometimes this superficial question that they ask, why Langay def Gambia to change the lives of people? You don't know. You don't know what people do. I don't know what you're doing. Chances are you're doing a great thing, helping a lot of people. That's you, private. We are not here talking about what people are supposed to do privately. We are talking about what the government that has been entrusted with our resources is doing to make sure that our people do not continue to suffer in abject poverty. But again, simplicity is the name of the game. And sometimes people have a very simplistic way of looking at things. And I think this question is one such.
Yeah, I mean, I understand sometimes when people speak truth to power and maybe criticize what is going wrong, I mean, and you support the status quo. And the only thing that you can come back with, Moine, in what have you done in terms of supporting the youth? Like you said, as if Nenyun is our role to do that. And I mean, one would sound very petty if you want to stand here and say, man, li lai def, which I believe is going to help employment. One would really look very foolish to do that. Look, for us, I mean, I know Sariang. I didn't know him in the Gambia. I know him as an advocate. Pasamba, the same thing. And what I know about them, for the past 20-something years, they were willing to stand up and have a conversation and say, our country needs to be rescued. Mr. Tamba, maybe you don't get that, but that is an investment. 20 years ago, when we have a tyrant, talk ci suñ dox gi wax dee yëngu dul, there were people, and yes, we were from afar, yes, maybe there was this social blanket because ñu nekkun fa ñeme ñu jàmme, yes, but there were also a whole number of people living here in the diaspora that wouldn't even lift a finger. You talk about investment, my brother. We invested in the situation that we are in today. We invested, Mr. Tamba Deglumare, in the situation that we are in today. If you believe, and listening to you, asking that question, it means you are in line with the current status quo, with the government. But my brother, we invested and we brought about this government. So you don't like that investment? If you think the economy is booming, Gambian things are better, it's because we invested in that. So Buku Tutil, we come here every Sunday to speak the truth, to have a conversation. Conversation Buku Hebde is very important. We said this is what is wrong, this is what is right. We are doing that. We could be, and I'm sure, Yotamit, you are actually investing because you're tuning into the program to be part of this conversation, challenging us. That's how you build a country. I don't know what your motivation is for asking that question, but maybe you should go back to the drawing board. It's like Pastor Samba said, we are not the ones in charge of that 52 billion to bring about employment. Actually, sir, somebody like me, I don't even think that's the role of government. I said government is in the way. Government can create the environment, but when everything is said and done, it's going to be out Mr. Tamba, Mr. Morong, Pasamba, myself, taxpayers, Gambians, that will bring about the youth employment that you're talking about. So,
and you know what? And nobody is going to be drawn here to be telling people what they are doing for other people.
Exactly.
No, there are a lot that people do. People pay for people's university education. People are doing a lot of things in the Gambia to help young people to develop. What this conversation is about is how do we become better as a country? Why has the country continued to wallow in abject poverty? Why is it that our farmers still, after working so hard, are still having a problem getting their nuts bought by this government? You know, why are they being giving promissory notes? Why are people not having clean drinking water in this 21st 21st century? These are the questions that warrant such a conversation. Not why what lan la golo def ak lan la nakambam def. No, we are talking about why are we in the predicament that we are in today? What are the solutions to those problems? But again, it is what it is. But only Sarian has something to say. We can.
No, I have not. You guys summarize it. Well, man, I have nothing.
Yeah, and some people are, why do we answer that? We try to have an interactive conversation with this.
Yeah,
and I think every question is important, you know, and that's it. At the end of the day, you know, you'll have these questions here and there. You get in here and get talk Europe like but again, your government would come and say, you know what, remittances contributed about almost 20% of GDP or 25% of GDP, and you know, people do what they do to be able to help. But let's have a government that also at least complements the work that individual Gambians are doing to be able to move the country forward. Because we cannot be stagnant. We are stagnant. You know, it's a country that has stagnated for a while.
So let's
but
get
electricity, the academy of Babusa Jeng, the study pulled GCA levels better in 1974.
But something happened that people thought it was important. They poo-poo at it. For me, I thought it was a good move. And that is when I heard that President Barrow was meeting Mr. Dabo, I'm like, well, I welcome it. I thought, wow, you know, I mean, and this was something that even Chambers kind of work at it in terms of our pending constitution. In the next 3 weeks, the constitution will be at the National Assembly. And Mr. Chambers, I mean, obviously not a Gambian, thought that it was important to bring the two players. I mean, I've seen comments. People are saying, Usaino shouldn't have done this. Some are saying, we're not interested in that. Some are saying, even Chambers now buys an affair. It's not his business. I mean, it's unfortunate when I see comments like that. But for me, I thought that it was good for the two leaders to meet. Some are saying, but why don't you involve other people? But anyone who really understands the reality that we are in, that the only way we can have a new constitution if these two men can find a common ground. That's just the reality of the politics. So, I mean, if these people can sit down and find a compromise, then yes, call it the draft, whatever the draft is, it will be able to go past the second reading to the National Assembly members to look at it, find the compromise, agree to disagree. Some would say, oh, we don't want to hear that, just bring back the 2020 draft. I get it. The 2020 draft is a name. What is important is the details in the 2020 draft. If you can sit down and allow the National Assembly members to yank clauses from the 2020 draft and put it in this new draft and find a compromise, we will still get the 2020 draft. So I'm calling Musa Jeng Bunyu Sonal, this thing, I mean, dead on arrival. I get it. But I have every right to be hopeful. And that is why when I heard about the meeting, I thought you called me. And I'm like, wow, that is good. Some are saying nothing came out of it, maybe. But I thought that, I mean, people like Chambers should be encouraged.
Chambers.
And I read from, was it Jigan?
Huh? His name is Chambers. Ibn Chambers.
What's his name?
Chambers.
Chambers.
Not chambers. Not a chamber to put your tanky
you know what I'm saying.
food.
It's my fana accent. You gotta excuse me for that. Chambers. He's out there, especially, I mean, I think I read something from Jagan Senghor, you know, and I was very impressed with what he said, especially when.
Who is Jagan Senghor?
Is it Jagan?
Jagan Gray Johnson.
Jagan Gray Johnson, I'm sorry. I'm butchering people's name all over the place. Jagan Gray Johnson.
That's what you do.
I was really impressed. But anyway, but again, I thought that any country, any people, the way you find common ground is by sitting down and talking. You don't talk with people that you agree with. You talk with people that you disagree with. Yefi rew, yefi mbolola. And we all see things differently. And we can sit here and question each other's motivation all we want. Which is fair game. We can all hang on to our narrative. They are the ones that did this, they did that. At the end of the day, and I'm not saying, and this is the line that people will always go to. Well, we want a constitution, but not just any constitution. Who's saying that? Oh, we're not going to support these Barrow papers. Who's saying that? What people are saying, let's allow the lawmakers to get a stab at it. I will never support a constitution without the necessary amendments that will make it a good document. All I have been advocating and supporting is let's give ourselves an opportunity to do that. You can do all the blame game all you want. Kimoko yaha, kilemoko yaha. We can do that. That's fine. And I agree. But why shouldn't we allow the lawmakers to take a stab at it? Give ourselves an opportunity. We all listened to MC Chan, Pasamba, was it 2 weeks ago? When he talked about when they went for our independence. P.S. Njai, Jawara, Famara Wasa. The chief guy, Mbake, Uncle. Omar Mbake. They have their disagreements. They all speak a totally different language. But it was important for them to come together and do this. We are calling ourselves the Gambia to be respected because of steps that these people have taken. Yefi reula, yefi watanla, yefi yobukochi datigi, yefi yobukochi bantababi. These are things that we need to talk about. We can have our disagreements. But if we say, F it, Kimoko Yaha, his motivations, Nila Nala, who does it help? In the next 60 years, just like 60 years ago, that's why MC Cham, we all listen to him, the disagreements. The emotions are gone. No one is emotional anymore about, people wanted a Republican state, and you heard what MC said. They thought we were still better off with gradualism under a monarchy until we can. Those were the issues. And I'm sure that the emotions were high. But the emotions are no longer there. In the next 60 years, when Pasamba is long gone, the emotions that we are witnessing today will not be there. When Gambia was at this stage and they were talking about a new constitution, the emotions, the issues are going to be there. Why emotions before nekati? That is why I believe we need to take a step back and give this a chance at the National Assembly. At least, definitely, but Limo Dega, we were not able to get it done. But for me, I believe that in the absence, the leadership of Alaji Usainu Dabo, the leadership of Barrow at this juncture, yes, and I'm not Tutil Masi Halifa Salagi. Don't get me wrong. Duma Def Lulu ever. All these leaders are important in the conversation. And I think that's the direction we need to go. I know I heard my good friend Pasamba talked about we need to yank it and then all these stakeholders get together and talk it over. And that's an option. That can also be done. But I also do know, looking at where we are, allowing the lawmakers to take a stab at it and make the changes that is necessary. Man gisuma lu ci ay man fogg na ne gisuma lolu lu ci ay de billahi. And I'm hoping upon hope. And I said something like this on Facebook, and I said, I'm having prayers. Like, you can pray all you want. There's a lot more to this than prayers. But man, I'm one person who believes That Jammeh wasn't removed alone because of strategy or what we were doing. I think prayers had something to do with it. When the Christians sat at the Independence Stadium, Nyan Yalla, I think that has something to do with it. When good Muslims stay in their mosque, Nyan Yalla, I think that has something to do with it. So let us explore and utilize all the tools in our arsenal to give ourselves an opportunity for a new constitution. Pap Samba.
Well, Musa, like you, I don't have any problem with Mr. Dabo, who is the leading opposition in the country, and Barrow meeting. There was nothing wrong with that. And of course, in any serious democracy, sometimes from time to time, you will have people of different views, divergent views also, meet and discuss issues that are pertinent to the country. And I believe that that was a very important move. And my take, though, about this whole thing, Musa, like I've always said, a great lawmaker is a very good vote counter. You have to be able to count the votes to know where you are. This whole thing is dead on arrival. We all know that. And actually, I think Mr. Dabo is supposed to be having a press conference tomorrow. And I listened to part of his interviews with Member Kering. Mr. Dabo's position hasn't moved on 1 inch. So as a result, there is no way that this is going to the second round, in the second reading.
Past the second reading, yeah.
I have said to the minister, to the Attorney General, that I am of the view that this draft should be taken back, withdrawn, because there is still enough time to have a look at this Barrow draft and the 2020 draft and come up with compromises, gazette it, bring it, and still go to a referendum and have the new constitution be the constitution that takes us to the 2026 elections. That's still a possibility. What we cannot also do is like to be hope, Musa, is not a strategy.
Yes.
Hope is not a strategy. So all those who feel that, oh, let's just take it there and see what's going to happen, they are just being hopeful. But everybody knows, you know, I know, Sariang knows, the minister knows, Mr. Dabo knows, Adama Barrow knows, everybody knows that there is absolutely no way that this is going to pass to go to the second round. They don't have the votes. You need 75% of the National Assembly members to vote for it to go to the second round. And in fact, for this to pass, I see people, oh, now when you go to committees, you have majority, simple majority. When it comes to the plenary, the House itself, for a constitution to be passed, you have to have 75% of the votes for it to pass. So what I'm saying is, if they are really interested in getting a constitution, I don't think Barrow is that interested in getting a constitution. I think Barrow is just, you know, like you have a job, Musa, and sometimes maybe you have to do certain things. You do it for compliance. And I think that is what this government is doing, for compliance. Because I think if they were really interested in having the constitution that we have, we would not have gotten to the area that we are in here. So I still maintain my position that the government, the Attorney General, should withdraw this bill. All right? Let's have a sit down and have a bill that would have the backing of all the players. And in fact, that is where maybe if you have two differences, you can say, you know what, maybe this now, let's leave it to them and they can figure it out. But this one, it doesn't matter what you say, what you do. I understand where your heart is. And I think those that are accusing you of just wanting any constitution that favors Barrow are not being fair, because they may not even know where you stand on this, because you're of the view that maybe something can be salvaged. But I don't think this is salvageable as we stand. So if you're really interested in a constitution, yank it. They've done that with there was a bill that they wanted to pass that it was so unpopular. What did they do? They yanked it. This bill is even more unpopular than the first one in the first place, because everybody is asking you, telling you, you know what, this is not what we want. So I want them to say, you know what, let's take this back. Let's bring all these players. Let's see where the disagreements are. Let's come up with a document that we can take to the National Assembly and say, you know what, it is going to the National Assembly. It has the backing of Usainu Dabo. It has the backing of Halifa Saleh. It has the backing of this A, B, C, and D. At least you're going with a momentum. But Musa, we can wish all we wish and take this. It's going to fail, and we'll just go back to the drawing board.
Hey, Coach and Musa. Yeah, thank you for that. I saw it. I saw the meeting again. I'm very open to dialogue, but not to say that there is something drastic gonna come out of it, right? I didn't watch any of Jabo's comments, and I seen that they met behind closed doors, and I believe I read it on Kerfatu. And again, the fact of the matter is, it's just not, let's just rush this through, right? I think you have to get it right. The fact that there was missteps and there is this much backlash, regarding the Constitution. And I think they just kind of need to reset a little bit. I think you know what? I've seen, I think on Coffee Time, I listened to Saltal. He was saying when Dauda Jallo was part of the Bar Association before he became Attorney General, I mean, all the great things he talks about the 2020 draft and when they were doing consultation. I think when such a thing comes before, it's a national document, and they're gonna go. Dauda Jallo is not gonna be the Attorney General forever. Barrow is not gonna be the president forever for the Gambia. And I think that patriotism, that open-mindedness that he has before, and obviously we know the stalemate at the National Assembly. So I think resetting, getting it right, I think it will solve all these issues, right? Just saying, let's give a chance. Yes, but giving it a chance, it's gonna fail. Based on the current composition of the National Assembly, and I think some type of leadership needs to be exerted, and it needs to come from the AG, right? Because the AG Chambers is the legal, legal advisor to the executive. So I think he could take the pulse. I mean, during press conferences, I mean, he's been challenged upfront in terms of, the consultation, how they draft this. Yes, I get it, but get it right though, right? If public sentiment is so negative, I don't know how you could feel comfortable that somehow, you're gonna just ram this document through and it will get the support necessary to pass it. I think it's not gonna happen. I really don't. I mean, we can be optimistic, we can be hopeful, but the reality on the ground doesn't. So I think, somehow you can't be stubborn your way out. You need to start listening to the sentiment of the folks, especially, I think there was an MP who was saying, when I talked to my constituents, they said, no, we don't want this. I mean, if that person goes into the National Assembly and vote against the current bill, you think he divided? I mean, he listened to his constituent. The will of his constituents was conveyed to the National Assembly. So I think those are issues that, in as much as we want a new constitution, we need to be receptive of the feedback that we have from the people and try to recalibrate a little bit and adjust and make it meaningful. At the end of the day, I mean, we're talking about what, 110 million that was spent. They flew around, both in the Gambia, in the Gambia and internationally to engage the communities, talk to Gambians. The wishes of the Gambians were imprinted on the 2020 draft, right? In negotiation, you have to give and take. I get that part. But don't just be ambivalent about some thing because some folks think that it is in their interest to entrench you. And I think, with everything, I mean, people have the right to say, hey, you know what? this is not what we fought for. We want something different. We want something that doesn't empower, say like the National Assembly members, right? The 2020 went away with that, nominated non-members. Now they bring it back, that the president can fire them. I mean, come on. I mean, is that something that we think they're gonna be willing to amend? I haven't seen so much leadership on the part of the AG, except that he goes into coffee time or he goes into a press conference and he goes back and forth with the journalists about, I'm not here to lie. But if the bar association said there was no consultation, everyone, even Halifa said it. But again, that doesn't defeat the purpose of having conversation. But what is the end state though, right? Is this gonna move forward and turn these actions into something meaningful? That's yet to be seen. So, and I'm very open. They can have a debate. They can take it down there. I'm not part of a National Assembly, but I think the concerns are very valid. And I think this stubbornness that we're gonna rim this through by anyhow, I think it's total disservice and it's a selfishness on the part of the people who actually put these, draft in place and put aside the one that over majority of the Gambians won. And I think that's something that they just kind of need to reflect on a little bit and bring a compromise. I think so. Your mic.
Sorry. Sir, I left this just so that I can respond to it. Because I think sometimes then they jahase affaire. See, no one is saying that when the National Assembly members are going to vote, they're going to vote whether to allow the 24 draft to pass. That's not what we are talking about. This has nothing to, you say they have a simple majority at the committee level. So basically we're saying, let's allow this to go past the second reading. Like Halifa Saleh said, whoa, let's not get carried away. This is not a question of voting for up or down vote for the 2024 draft. When they get to the committee level, yes, they are going to debate. They are going to go back to their constituent. They're going to get information from their constituent. They're going to come back and they're going to table it. They're going to agree to disagree. Yes, at that level, it's going to be a simple majority. But that doesn't mean vote direct, so it's a done deal, Yunusa. No. It's going to go back, like Pastor Samba said, to the preliminary, to the consideration stage. At that point, the entire National Assembly is going to vote. And they need 75%. And they're not going to get it. So we can committee, whatever proposals that we made, whatever, this meeting that they had with Nyomar Nyang, all those suggestions with the Human Rights Commission, we all saw the recommendations that was sent by the National Human Rights Commission. That recommendation was pretty much lifted from the 2024 draft. Now, if they don't accommodate those recommendations, these National Assembly members can still vote against it. Do them fen, it's not even going to get to referendum, Yunusa. So forget about this simple majority. And also, please, no one is saying nay. Somebody said, Musa, why don't you think that we should make that same amendment in the 2020 draft? You are absolutely right. The very people that voted against, and these are Barros cabal, that decided that they are going to sabotage it, they will not even allow it to get to the committee stage. We had a problem with that. I have reservations with the 2020 draft. There are a lot of things I didn't like, but I wanted to at least get to that level. Let them get started. Halifa Saleh, I'm telling you, Halifa Saleh will never sell this country. We all know that. I listened to him, and what he said is, look, any executive will do whatever they want with any bill. There is just 2025 bill. It came from the executive. Then you do a lunex. Feel you assign 200 million. You feel you assign $5. Feel you this is what our priority is. That major bill went to the National Assembly. They allow the lawmakers to take a stab at it and make changes. What Halifa is saying, forget about what these people their wish is. It's a bill. But the lawmakers, it's their role to take that bill, to agree, to disagree, to make changes with the sole interest, what is in the interest of the Gambian people, what is in the interest of having a new constitution. That is their role. If they decide, no, we are not even going to take that role, then they have no business being National Assembly members. No one is asking the National Assembly members to vote for the 2024 draft. No. Like Halifa Sallah said, allow it to take ownership of it and then agree to disagree. Just because of they have the majority in these on these committees, that doesn't mean anything. It's the power of persuasion. Is to go and look at your National Assembly members in the eyes and remind them where this country was, why it is important for us to make sure that the power of the executive needs to be, we need to have an assembly member that will oversee, advise and consent, the role that they need to play at the National Assembly. Look, these National Assembly members are just like Pasamba, Yowman, Aksarian, and quite a few of hundreds of people that are watching. We all are Gambians and we all love our country. We have our problems, no doubt, But at the end of the day, I would want to trust let them allow to take a stab at it. Let's give ourselves a chance. Solo Sending deserves to be given a chance. And I'm not saying, seriously, Njagajan deserves to be given a chance. There are people that paid the ultimate price. And don't tell me that we should not allow this thing to go past second reading. It's not because of you are endorsing the Borough Papers. No. You are saying, I'm going to put it in the hands of other people to debate it and look at it. That's all what it is. Now, we can make all the argument in the world. Let's say, I'm Sarian, everything that you said about the Attorney General lack of leadership, I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree that back in, was it 2020? When they decided to vote against the 2020 draft, not to go past the, second reading, I was here. We were all disappointed. We were all disgusted. But my friend, let me ask you guys one question. This was before the 2021 elections. Did Barrow pay a price for that? For sabotaging our constitution? The Gambian people still went and gave him a mandate. Let's look at the politics of it, my friends. All I'm saying is let's give our country a chance for the National Assembly members to debate this document to see whether we can find common ground to get a constitution better than what we have. Manfalai Wahe is not supporting Barrow and some of these issues that people are reading. No. It's not about that. And I respect everything that Pasamba you said. No doubt. If that is an option that can be done realistically, maybe we should explore that. But man, I think we've gone past that. Is it too late? No, it's not. If we have a leader that is committed for a constitution that really wants it to happen, it would have happened back in 2020. Unfortunately, we don't have the leader that is committed for a new constitution. But I want to believe we have people that are committed for a new constitution. Do you seriously believe Halifa Sallah would say, let's allow this thing to go past second reading because he supports Barrow? Halifa Sallah? That he supports Barrow? That all he wants to do, the only reason why he said that is because he wants to support what Barrow is doing. No. The man has been in this game for a long time, and he has the scars to show for it. And I think we should listen to him. We should give him the benefit of the doubt and allow the lawmakers.
Musa, it's not about Halifa Sallah, though. You keep passing. Hold on a second. Let me push back a little bit on this. I think no, because you keep pouncing. If we put the efforts, where was the effort? I agree we should have a document. But there are clauses that they insert onto this 2024 draft. Even if it goes to a debate stage or amendments, how about if the executive don't agree on those changes? Now what next? I guess that's what my question is. Before we get into somebody did this, a lot of good, great Gambians talk about the Constitution, the Marians. Everyone talks about it. But I think if we're going to talk, let's just not drum beat this whole thing. Let's talk about inserting common sense and have an honest. I listened to Halifa very carefully. In fact, one time he called Barrow draft too, by the way, right? And that's the truth. He's saying, but what I'm trying to say, my question is, those amendments, those clauses that they put, they change. If the executive doesn't agree, now what next? What do we do?
Bro, you deglu lo made.
No, I listen to you. I listen to you.
Let me answer.
I listen to you. I listen to you. Huh?
There's a reason why the executive went and make those changes. They did what they had to do. They're the executive. They did what they had to do. It's their business. What Halifa Saleh is saying is the role of the lawmakers to make law. And they should take that document and make law. It doesn't matter what the executive says. It doesn't. It really doesn't matter. So you're saying if we fail, obviously, if Barrow doesn't want the compromises to happen, most likely his National Assembly members are going to play along. I get that. And if that happens, but at least all I'm saying is, let's move the ball. Let's move the ball so that we have this conversation. Just like the national budget. When they put the national budget, they don't sit there and say, you know what, we're not going to allow this thing to go past the second reading. When they put the, what they call it again, the corruption bill, they did not say, oh, there are things that we don't like. They allow it to get past the second reading so that they can sit down and get a stab at it and make changes and the compromises. That's what they did for the national budget. That's what they did with the, why couldn't they do it with the constitution? I don't understand that. Forget about, I'll call it Barrow papers, whatever you want to call it. I get that. All I'm saying is...
So Musa, if I understand you, you're saying, let's take this document to the second reading. If they are not going to play ball, what we want, we reject it at the plenary.
Yes. Because nobody is going to go with the constitution as it is.
I'm going to more like grouse conversation here. When people start, I see Sol Baji asking where were Musa Jeng when the 2020 draft. He was right here criticizing Barrow for not passing it.
No.
In fact, hold on. In fact, on the eve of it, Sol, and I don't like to come here and act like I'm trying to defend him. You know, Musa's position never aligned. But I was on a call with him and Bankamane to what's his name? Amadba, urging him that they should allow this document to go to the second reading so that at least people will be able to decide what they need to change or should not change. So we may have our disagreements, but what we cannot also do is to try to position people in places that they do not belong, as if they are here advocating for Barrow order. That's not what it is. Now, he has his opinion that, you know what, it has to go to this thing. My opinion is it should be withdrawn. Don't waste the people's time. It's not going to pass. Withdraw it. And I also want to make it categorically clear. Adama Barrow has never been interested in a constitution that serves the general interest of the Gambian people. What Adama Barrow is interested in is a constitution that serves Adama Barrow's aspirations. And this was why the 2020 draft failed. And this is why the 2024 Barrow draft is also going to fail. The lack of honesty in our leadership is the reason why Gambians cannot have the constitution that we need to have. Adama Barrow should not have been even in the position. This is why we had an agreement, and I have to go back to this. Serve your damn 3 years and leave so that you will not be even here worrying about what the constitution gives you and does not give you. But his greed for power is why we are here. And again, the complacency of the Gambian people, Musa, is also rightly the reason why we are here today. Because when Adama Barrow butchered our aspirations, the Gambian people repaid him with an order term. That's the reality. And some people went to those elections. And what would they tell you? Hey, Monday, I'm going to vote for Adama Barrow because voting for Halifa Saleh or voting for Esafal is going for Usainu Dabo. I really don't want UDP to come to power. That's what they were saying. So now you voted for Adama Barrow, who had always shown you that he cannot be trusted. when it comes to anything that is in the interest of the Gambian people. He had always put his interest ahead of the Gambian people. So the people that we are blaming today have nothing to do with why Adama Barrow is re-elected. No. So people need to look at themselves very, very closely. And the way that they voted is the reason why we are in the same predicament today. It's a joke.
I'm a man Saul. Saul Fona they either fate or he has amnesia. Because we've always been talking about the 2020 draft. They came to Atlanta. I was there. And I wish I could pull the video and tell you exactly what I said in terms of contribution. Like Pasamba said, we call Ahmad Ba because we did not want this thing to fail. And I have issues with the 2020 draft, serious issues. The citizenship issue, I have an issue with it. I want to make sure that the diaspora can even run for the highest office in the land. I have issues with it. But I also believe at that time that they should allow the process to proceed. See, when I look at things, the politics of it, somebody is asking me, do you even understand constitution building? Mr. Ulu, Mamam Gadeg is always on my case. Maybe I don't. I'm not as smart as I graduated from Kaur Primary School. But one thing that I know is a political process. The Kuneka, people are going to take their positions. Trust me. We can sit here and question Barrow's motivation, question Mr. Dabo's motivation, question Halifa's motivation, all we want, till the cows come home. At the end of the day, at this juncture where we are, I believe we will not be able to have a draft if Mr. Dabo or Barrow, if they are not willing to really sit down and find common ground. That's just the reality, really. Barrow doesn't have the votes. In fact, if Mr. Dabo even, let's even say someone allow everything will go to the referendum. If he campaigns against it, this thing will fail. Moidiga. Seriously. If he doesn't go out there and campaign for people to vote for the draft, whatever the draft is, 2020, 2025, 30, whatever draft it is going to fail. If President Barrow allow even the 2020 draft to go through and he doesn't campaign for it, it's going to fail. So, Foful and Tolu, like my good brother Madi said, and I left his comment there, I think you misrepresent. I'm not misrepresenting the situation. I get it, Madi, Bilahi. You said these are necessary. It will be dangerous if we follow disingenuity and illegitimacy in the name of dialogue. That's not what it is, Madi. Seriously. That is not what it is. Whether it's legal or disingenuous, I understand why people are angry. Sarian talked about the amount of money that was spent. We formed the Constitutional Commission. They went out there and spoke to Gambians. And a document came out of us, the people. I get that. So for one person and their cabal to sabotage it, and you'll be like, them make changes in the local. You just want to give him the finger. I get that. But I think we have to rise above the emotions and look at it for what it is. My friend, let's allow it to go past the second reading. Let's agree to disagree. If those changes are not accommodated, we vote against it. It's never too late. So for Saul Baji, my good friend, this is not about Barrow. This is not about the Barrow papers, whatever you want to call it. You know, this is about, I believe, what we've been fighting for the past 20-something years to remove Jammeh. And there's another angle that I want to dwell on, and that is the politics of 2026. And I've always said this. Man, I'm not just supporting allowing this process to go through, because I think, not getting a new constitution and go into the elections in 2026, I don't think it would help the idea of bringing about change. Mangomolulu. I don't think that it helps. I think it makes our job much more difficult to hit that reset button and bring change. Madi will tell you, I don't care. Even if it doesn't bring change, we can be here for the next 100 years until we do it right. Madi. I told him that. I'm like, Madi, let's nanjef ndanka. Change, and I am not a student of gradualism either, Madi. But I also do believe, let's seize the moment. Let's seize the moment. If we allow this, if we don't have a new constitution, in few months, we're already in March. Can you believe that? In a very short time, we will be into the elections. And I know my Gambian people. I told you, 2020 draft was sabotage. Did Mr. Barrow pay a price for that? No. So my good friend, let's look at the politics of it and what would help our democracy and also a chance of bringing about change in 2026. I don't think that the 1997 constitution will do it. But
it did it with Jammeh to take out a freaking brutal. Hold on.
You're a good student of history.
By my Daniel, I wanted to. I know Kek Sane is on online. He said something very interesting, and I wanted to read it out loud. Just put it on the screen. He says the Constitution is no more an executive document, rather the National Assembly members' document. So there is nothing like the executive disagree, and that. I think he's responding to me. So I want to make sure that we don't leave yesterday. I think the political will, and I think Coach kind of summarized this very, very well. Okay. Well, I understand, the food chain here. It came in, the document got passed on to the National Assembly. It's where it is right now. But again, you cannot take the executive out of the whole equation. They weigh heavily. And I think we just talk about it. I mean, who voted against even moving this forward, the 2020 draft, because there was some type of retroactive clause, in it. So we're not going to sit here and fool each other. We know exactly where the powerhouse is and where the disagreement lies, right? So I think we could bring this to rest. Withdrawing it and start it and engaging the people. There is so much backlash against this. And I think the executive weighs heavily into the whole equation. So you can say it's in their hands. But you know what? We just said, why did Chambers met with Mr. Dabo and the president? Why? Why did they meet with these two folks? Because maybe they had the majority in the National Assembly.
Of course.
And I think their voice,
I say, of course.
Yes, and their voice matters. I mean, if they two can come together and narrow their differences, I think, it's a blessing in disguise. I think that's the way we track these things, Kex. We're not born yesterday, and we don't sit here and just yappy about stuff. We know where the politics stands and where the standstill is. I mean, he could have summoned the National Assembly members and give them lectures and lectures upon lectures. But at the end of the day, where there is a standstill and the key stakeholders, that's who he met behind the scene. And I think, we just, again, dialogue is great. Musa, we need to be talking to each other more often, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think, Mr. You and I had this conversation yesterday. Even the Sanyan Deep Force, Deep Sea, there's so much stuff out there for consumption. I think if the great guys, the leaders who are in charge of that, the port and the ministry came and talked to Gambian people clearly and concisely, I think some of this stuff would be put to rest. But this whole thing about it's one person, that's not how this thing is work, Kex. It's at the National Assembly. But National Assembly, from them, they're gonna, if it gets second reading and all that, it goes to the people, back to the people. The people will decide on this thing. We get it. But I think the folks should be instrumental to ensure that they are all open and, ensuring that we think. Because as I said, the National Assembly's members, they're going to be there. Maybe they're going to be gone. They might be voted out. But this is something that we need to hold dear to our heart and ensure that what people want, controls are in place to hold both the legislature and the executive to account in terms of their proper before they are coming in. If you don't have 1 million in your account and you don't have this massive wealth before you came into office, you should declare it. When you're leaving, you should declare it. That's just I think it's a shift of thinking on how we approach things, and I think those are important stuff. Those are very, very important. And I think if there is compromise, massage it a little bit, push it out, I think that's fine. But then we should have dialogue. This whole thing that there's no such thing. There is, absolutely. That's why they had a meeting with the president and the major political opposition leader. Okay? All right.
No,
that's it.
And I even wanted to, I think sometimes we try to be so simplistic in these approaches. The issue here is, if the executive, the bill is now belongs to the National Assembly now has the decision to make on it. If Adama Barrow tells his supporters, make the changes will be made.
Yes.
If he tells them vote against it, they are going to vote against it. And you know what? Even when he did not have a political party, he was able to amass a few of them, give them $10,000 every month and tell them, you know what? Vote the damn thing down. It was voted down. If Mr. Dabo is not in the parliament. If Mr. Dabo were to tell the UDP leadership members of parliament, we are voting this down, they would vote it down. If he woke up tomorrow, call his executive and tell them, you know what, I've changed my mind now. I think we are going to give this process, let it go to the next round. That would happen. So let's not downplay this thing. Of course, yes, the National Assembly has the powers, but also you cannot separate the influence that they have from their various parties. The executive, if Barrow wants this thing, in fact, if Barrow wanted this thing to pass, we would not be having this conversation in the first place. It was because of Barrow and his influence that the 2020 draft did not pass. Even when they tried to resurrect it, Khalifa tried to bring it back, they said no, they were not interested in that. Just like now, there's a reason why Imut Chambers said I need to have Ousseynou and Barrow sit in the same room. Because if I can have Ousseinou's 15 or 16 members to vote, plus Barrow's whatever members, that takes us very close to the 75% that we need to pass. Yeah. So this happens everywhere, even in the US here. Did we have a border bill? Until the fool Trump called the speaker and said, you know what, withdraw the bill because Barrow, what's his name? Biden is going to use it as a political tool. What happened to that bill?
They voted against it.
Thank you very much. So yes, they are separate, but hey, the influence is there. And
it's the
politics of it. And look at our National Assembly members. Do they look like? Do some of these people look like people who would think independently and act independently? That's not going to happen. But anyway, Musa, I really wanted us to address this.
No, but I want to read what Sal said, because Sal, I was in the Gambia, invite you. Oh, I'm not super potato leaf load. I was there and at Sal's house and with Nakalingo Tough and Demba Balde. We had a nice conversation. Thanks for the lunch, Sal. And I really want to read your comment, what you said. And without the political consensus of the two main parties, we will not be able to replace the 1997 constitution. And you said, I have serious concern, which most people do, about the unilateral process that gave us the 2024 draft, meaning the executive took it up to themselves and did whatever they had to do. But you said the only way or opportunity to bring back the progressive provision of the 2020 rejected bill, if the bill goes past the second reading. Most reasonable people, it's like allow the thing to go to pass the second reading. And forget about the name. Whatever the clauses that are in the 2020 draft, and maybe I'm a naive person. Let's say
hold on. Most reasonable people. That people have their voices. Lolu Yaham Birla. So buge defar birmi. They use phrases, it castigate people, it belittle people. Don't say that. Lola wani. Then you're defan birmi. You have a megaphone. Defan birmi. Bile the use phrases that don't, come on, Faramo.
when
No,
you
no,
talk,
like what ni rek man mang la dimbale. Father Mos, Uncle Mos, man dimbale rek la what. Te buguma cho. Xam nga Ramadan la. Buguma yefi cho. Wanti mang la dimbale. Te mang la dimbale, Father.
Thank you
But
very
when the
much.
most reasonable, most people have their opinion and they are forming their commitment. Respect that. Respect that. Well, Lola, munga dem. What dem?
You see, you have pretty much crashed into whatever thought that I had, and I lost my thought. But okay, no, this is what I wanted to say.
That's my job, man.
Barrow and his guys, they got together and they said, okay, we definitely want to reintroduce. I mean, you remember this whole Nigerian connection. They brought whatever his name is to intervene and took the stakeholders to Nigeria and all of that. This time around, they went ahead and put this thing together, hoping maybe somehow it will get traction. There was a lot of pushback. So what I'm saying is there is nothing wrong with hoping. If it were to go past the second reading, maybe Barrow can tell his people to vote to kind of not to make the compromises that are necessary and vote against it. There's also a possibility, and maybe this is just the naive me hoping, if it gets to that stage, and maybe the man with the meetings, consulting with Dabo, with Chambers, and hearing from what other people are saying, that there is a possibility that there could be a compromise. It's possible. They will be willing to make compromises, the give and take that is necessary. That is possible. Because, you see, that's the only way, that's the only path that we can have a new constitution. To kind of vote against in a Bugumomudem pass of the second reading, that means that we're not going to have a constitution, period. No. So anyway, there are other issues we need to talk about. But most reasonable people would say, nay, let's allow this to get to the second reading.
Don't listen to this guy.
We're not listening to you there.
Musa Ansari, and there is another issue that came up where the attack dog of the NPP, Babukar Bahum, went on a rampage again. And we all know that if you have followed him, I don't think there is a living being who has said anything against Barrow that he has not insulted, myself included. I don't care anyway. He went after the people of Kiang for being ungrateful, and Barrow wanted to take them to heaven, but they wanted to stay in hell and other stuff. This warranted a citizen of Kiang, who also happens to be a member of the force, to write and say that I am not aligned to a political party, but I think statements like this should be condemned by everybody. And in fact, caution people that they should, elevate the conversation where we should not reduce it to what it is. Of course, there was a lot of uproar that when other people, supporters of the opposition, particularly supporters of the UDP, say anything like that, they are called for questioning, arrested, and sometimes even for 72 hours. Ibrahim Adiba, as we speak, is going to court because of something that he said against Barrow. The guy from Kirfatu, what's his name again? Only Fatu Turam. The comedian, I forgot his name. He was also at one time arrested. Bora, for what he said. Madi Jobate wrote something. He was arrested for what he said. But this Bahum fellow seems to always get a pass. In fact, his arrest, I understand, happened because the police had to call some members of the NPP to urge them to make sure that this guy turned himself over. So those were the people who convened and said, no, you have to go to the police. For him to go, and of course, what did he do? As soon as he came back, he wrote a lengthy thing. I am back. I am safe. I am on bail. Nothing is going to stop me from supporting President. But I don't even think he spent 2 minutes there. Maybe they said, you know what, let's just call him in because everybody is saying something about it. But to me, Musa, my issue is, and then of course, Binta Njai. I think it's ASP Binta Njai. Is it Assistant Superintendent of Police? I think that's what this thing is.
Correct.
Was pretty much called in by the leadership of the police lecturing her on the ethics of the police, that they should not engage in political talk. Now, this lady said nothing about political talk. My friend, the IGP, went on as saying that, yes, the political force are not supposed to participate in politics. But again, there is a video that was produced at an NPP event with NPP, flyers and everything there, the police dancing to it and giving money to the drummers who were singing for them and singing for Adama Barrow and all these things. So you see the disconnect. And then the IGP took it upon himself to, in fact, explain away the actions of Bahum, saying that, you know what, I think he just made a mistake, but he has regretted what he said. He has apologized to everybody and all that stuff. And you ask yourself, what the hell are we doing? I think it is really unfortunate that the police force that everybody was praising just a few days ago for the swift way in that they responded to attacking people, arresting people who were engaged in all these things, are now being brought into this political nonsense. And I believe, I'm going to go out of a limb and say this, that Binta Njai's questioning must have happened because somebody from the NPP had called the police and said, you know what, we cannot allow this. This lady is UDP. And quickly, they labeled her UDP. And the sad thing about our country now is there is nothing that anybody can say that is not the way you are not a Barrow or a UDP. If Musa Jeng says, let's pass the draft constitution, Musa Jeng is, let's give it to the second round of voting, Musa Jeng is a Barrow supporter. If I say Barrow is this, I'm a UDP supporter. And this nonsense, to me, I was really pissed off that they did this. And I know that Mr. Bahum, who has the backing of President Barrow and his NPP, will continue to insult people, and not a damn thing is going to come out of it, because you know what? He is a member of the NPP, supports the NPP. And in fact, I remember there was a press conference that they had where he was attacking journalists in that press conference, to the extent that Omar Wali was complaining about it. But again, what happened? Nothing. It's just silly. But that's my rant.
Paramos.
Go ahead, Brother Marong.
You're sleeping? What happened? You always have a take on issues there. Let's discuss this one too.
You go ahead.
Coach,
Yes.
thank you very much. I said, Mr. Bahum, there is several instances, In fact, even on this program, they came down one time. I think Cecil was on one time and lying. This is not a waste. This is the person who goes on Facebook daily. You can support the president. You can support the president's agenda. You can defend it. It's okay. But don't go insulting people, calling people all the Mama Candies, the Madis, the Young Guys, everybody, Davos. Oh, hey, sin, who can be father to him? He insulted. I mean, it's just the truth of the matter. But again, people are shielded because of their political allegiance and their alignment with the government of the day. And that's just the truth. Now, reading Binta's write-up, I haven't seen any political Binta following up for a while. She has opinions. I mean, very opinionated young lady. She wrote stuff, personal, and then sometimes she shared her views, on many issues, moral issues. But this one, it hit home. What the young man said, Binta came, she descended from Kian. Where she said there was absolutely no politics. She spoke, she said, we need to be very careful. Such utterances can create, national security issues. Now, for a fact, I don't know what the IGP is talking about, but, here, saying, what does he mean? I think the journalist could have challenged him and say, what do you mean by police officers cannot take part in politics. What do you mean in reference to Binta's write-up? Because I think what she's saying is, and I understand to the obey and complain later syndrome that's in Gambia and elsewhere. I get that part. But I think going down there and saying, oh, Bahum apologize, and that was a good gesture and all that stuff. How about a senior police officer who's also been a face of the police entire force, spokesperson? I think this could have been behind the scene rather than escalating this to a level where it's totally unnecessary and the attraction it's getting currently. I really think it really doesn't, if you are saying politics, what is the politics there on the entire write-up? Because you have to read the entire commentary where she says, because a couple of days ago, I think a couple of weeks ago, when those armed robbers were arrested, he referenced some incident whereby the guy's last name was Ture, and he says it's unfortunate that the guy's last name is Ture, and that's an embarrassment. So people have these little gestures or takes on little issues, but I really, for the fact that you stood there and say, "Bam!" I think well-known screenshots has been taken, and Fatu Ture every program. Fatura will go on the record and say, "Oh, I call IGP. I told him, and all that stuff." So I think we need to take serious, and this is why I am against any person, don't matter whether it's UDP or MPP, attacking people, insulting people. You could not debate with people. Debate on policies, challenge them their thoughts, but be respectful. Don't attack them. Don't insult them. Okay? Oh yeah, it's on both sides. Yes. I asked when UDP leader came to Atlanta, I took the mic and I posed this question. I said, if you're within, you look at, and Musa, you were there. I said, if today, the information sharing we had here, the knowledge that was passed out, leader doesn't insult. You look at the KMS and Jamis, Amadou Sanis, no one's insult anyone. I said, but the first thing I say is, oh, they attack people, they insult people. Why? Right? But these are things that we all need to reflect on. One applies to one person, it needs to apply to all. And we just need to be careful. And I think this whole thing needs to be put to rest, and Bahum needs to be reprimanded. Not Binta, and I think it's very unfair when the police turns to be somehow. He was very pissed off when he came after Ibrahim's audio. We knew what infuriated him, IGP Mutar Ture. We know that. We're not stupid. The body language, everything. He was infuriated. He said, we're not going to accept this. Insult right now. I'm doing insult and see what's going to happen. We knew it. But this time when you come in, you saw that somehow this person has apologized. That's okay. And you'll be making it a big deal. This Binta issue could have been her immediate supervisor could have talked to behind the scene and squash this whole thing. But now it creates all these issues. And I think that's where you don't want to be in the spotlight. You wanted to take care of issues at the very lowest level. So I don't know what necessitates this, but one thing I know is the sister from Kiang stood her ground. And as I said, Kiangs are very fierce. They don't care. Hey, man, I'm telling you. And last week, I forgot to use this acronym, but Kiang stands for kind, integrity, adaptable, noble, and general. So that's what Kiang stands for. From Jataba to Bumar to Burokang to Quinala. These are areas there. I have uncles, I have cousins.
And this is coming from a Badibunka.
No, but I have a very, very, people don't, I have a very, very close lineage in Kia. My grandfathers, my grandfather in Urokan, he's from there, Basonko. He lives there, he has a compound right at the police station, Sonko Kunda. That's where my grandfather is. You go to Quinala, Wiema Kunda. That's where my grandfather, who is the mother of my biological mom. So the Sanyangs are my uncles and the Sonkos. And the Dafes are my cousins. Then you go to Kiang, you go to Sika, Nyomi, they are where originally they were. So we are all interrelated. Despite it's a Badibunga, but it's very, very strong lineage,
So definitely then the Kiankas are your boss. So you agree. So that's fine.
No, they are not my boss. they are not my boss. So yeah.
Sol Baji, the Gambia Police Force, according to Musa Jeng, were awarded the best force in Africa. I don't remember when I ever said that. And
he's just trying to get on your skin.
And then my good friend Lamin Ture, Musa Jeng, you don't even need to comment. So that puts me is like, okay, what am I going to say?
You're put out of commission, man.
Come on, echo the sentiments that have already been put out there? Or do I come out and be contrarian? Or do I come out to be just say what I want to say? And that's exactly what I'm going to do. You see, like most of you, when I saw Mr. Bahum's comment, and you read it, somebody who just lost an election, and he went berserk and said, Kiankas, they are, what did he say again?
Ungrateful.
They are ungrateful. They're not progressive. You bring development to them. That's a sore loser attitude. But it's not what Bahum said that people were reacting to. It was who said it and the reputation that he has. If we were just another person who said that, maybe people may not even comment on it. But it's coming from someone who has a reputation of insulting, haste. You say something about Baro, like Pasamba said, he would come out and not only deal with the issue itself, he personalizes it. He went after Mahdi, haste. So people were reacting to that. He said, Kiankas are ungrateful. Let's go back. For 22 years, Wahde Yengudul in the Gambia. People were scared. From URR to CRR to the greater Banjul area. Wherever Jammeh goes, Nyuna Yai Waja. Kiankas, with threats, they never wavered. Tells them, Dumalen Indel development, they vote against him. In my neighborhood, that's not ungrateful. These are people who are progressive. They were consistently, when Gambians were capitulating to fear, they never wavered. So for someone to say the Quakers are ungrateful, someone who just lost an election, is neither here nor there. But in today's Gambia, people will take a statement and an individual and elevate it and make mountains out of molehills. Unfortunately. I went back and I looked at what ASP Njai, ASP Binta. She was here, was it a couple of years ago? She was the PR, the face of the police force, a progressive, smart lady. Because we are known for men holding those positions in our security apparatus. For the first time, a young lady, very smart, poised, very articulate. When I first heard it, my first instinct was, I don't think she should get herself involved in that because of the position that he held, because of who she is. When I read it, I don't think the lady was reacting because of the politics. The lady was reacting because of, if you come to me today and you said, Waka Uriende, you people are so ungrateful, I will be hurt. there will be an insult for who I am as a person. Yenwa Salom, you're ungrateful, very unprogressive. We bring you development. So what Binta was reacting to wasn't the politics of it. But if I were her, and I do it all over again, I wouldn't react. Seriously, I wouldn't elevate it either. For anyone to think, nay, Binta was reacting because of the politics of it, or UDP, or Nyaka Yaka UDP, it's just the sign of the times. That's what we do in the Gambia nowadays. And sometimes, even what Binta said, IGP, their hands were forced by people who hijacked Binta's statement and over-politicize it. No lenge def ñun. When Ibrahim Adiba said what he said, we came here and I said they have no business arresting Ibrahim Adiba. There's nothing that worth him to be arrested. What Bahum said, I don't think he deserved that. Seriously. I am against insulting. Left to me alone, Pasama, we've always debated this. But sometimes the politics of the times is very difficult to be an IGP. I'm glad I'm not in Sidi Mokhtar Toure's shoes. I'm telling you. I can't be calling the man 2 weeks ago that he's a good IGP. Taymane is the worst IGP on planet Earth. I'm not going to do that. When you judge someone, you have to judge him in the totality and the situation that they are in. I still believe that Sidi Mokhtar Toure needs to be given a chance that he's a good IGP. He can be an effective IGP. And I'm still willing to give him that benefit of the doubt. Again, my position is simple. The people of Kiang, ungrateful? There are a lot of regions. For 20-something years, they capitulated out of fear, not Kiang. So for me, it's just mountains out of molehill. It's neither here nor there. People are trashing Sidi Mokhtar Toure all over the place now. Remove Sidi Mokhtar Toure and bring another IGP. Bro, I see in America where an FBI, a justice, Department of Justice. Pasama, you heard the story of what happened in New York. The guy that was being investigated, the mayor. All of a sudden, a new chief in town, all charges were dropped. It's unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. All I'm saying is this. We may think that Sidi Mokhtar Toure, remove him and get another IGP. As long as the system it is as it is, it will be very difficult under these times to be an effective IGP because law death, people are going to second guess you. Before the man even make a decision.
But Musa.
Daniel.
Okay, you're Daniel. Daniel.
Why da ngeen mel ni kuñu ruux when you
waaw Daniel léegi jeex na Daniel da nga Daniel big Daniel it's okay.
So bottom line is,
well, you are making similarities. Every time this Musajan talks, he try to make similarities with Trump. I don't know what's wrong with him. So, Daniel.
Unfair. Because sometimes you even interfere with my train of thought. The moment, that's what you guys are good at. And I think it's unfair. Again, I know our people. And our you cherry pick what they want to hear and they run away with it. But bottom line, and I think this is the one you want to react to, I believe that Sidi Mokhtar Toure is still a good IGP, and people that are second guessing him, I think they are wrong on Sidi Mokhtar Toure.
I'm gonna says the sad thing about your argument.
Coach, take it away. Coach, take it away. Take it away, Coach.
Sidi Mokhtar can be a prophet. But to suggest in a democracy that people do not cook, people who second guess you, are wrong, I think that is sad. Here is the issue, Musa. The issue is not what they said or did. It's the precedence that was set by the police themselves. You talked about the arrest of Kini. What's his name? Ibrahim Adiba. How many other people have been arrested and prosecuted because they insulted somebody in that country? How many? Has Bahum ever been arrested or prosecuted, charged for anything because he insulted somebody? Who has he not insulted? He has insulted Halifa Sallah. He has insulted Usainu Dabo. He has insulted Mama Kande. He has insulted everybody who he does not agree with. And that's the point, Musa. It's not a matter of whether he's a good IGP or was great Demba or no. The issue is the inconsistency in the application of the law. If you are fighting, I've always said I have a problem with policing speech. And this is where we've always had that problem, the divergence of views. But what I'm saying, Moine, if I insult, I am arrested. If you insult, you should also be arrested. And this is the issue. The issue is the unfairness in this whole thing. That this guy has consistently insulted every public figure publicly. He has never been called for questioning. The only time that they called him for questioning was when he wrote this and everybody got angry. That was the only reason they called him. And they took him there. Within hours, he was let go. And that's the end of that. But everybody else in that country who happens to be in the opposition, who said anything that looks like an insult towards Barrow or anybody else, is arrested and charged. And this is why Ibrahim Adiba is going to court today. So my issue is not what we said or what was said, but the application of the law. And I don't believe it was in the IGP's place to come and even try to explain away what the guy did and said, well, apologize now, so we should just move on. But you want to prosecute everybody else? And that's what the problem is, Musa. And unless there is unbiased application of the law, so if Ben Bahum insulted everybody, go and read the insults that Bahum has rained on Usainu Dabo and others. And tell me. Those same insults, anybody who said it against Barrow, anybody who says it against Sidi Njai, anybody who says it against any of these people will be arrested and charged. And when they arrest you, you will be detained for more than 72 hours. And they take you to court. Waste your time. But when this guy does it, and he had done it multiple times, there is a reason why, like you said something, it's not what he said, it's not who said it. And the reason why it had gotten to the point of responding to who said it is because the person has had a pattern of doing that without any action being ever taken by the police. And maybe if the police had not said anything to this lady who wrote nothing that was offensive, maybe this conversation would have been dead a long time ago. And this is where the problem is the inconsistent application of the law. And when you have that, that becomes unjust. And it doesn't matter who the IGP is, whether it is Musa Jeng, whether it is Sidi Mokhtar Toure, whether it is Sarian, whether it is, you name it. When you do that, you are undermining the very independence of the police. And that's the dangerous part about it.
All I know is, in current Gambia, even if you were to bring Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to be the IGP, you're going to run into problems.
But that's how it should be.
Oh, hey, you see, this is the thing, bro. Like, I'm the magnet tech. You know, I don't know why you guys have a problem.
Sorry.
For Jarek, interject and go crazy.
I am muting.
I know. I mean, most of the things that you said, I agree. I will never hold briefs for Mr. Bahum because I've seen him in action. All he does is insult people. That's why my first statement was people were not reacting to what he said. is the person who is saying it, because he has a reputation for something like that. That's why I said that. So again, I mean, do I have an issue with what you guys are saying? Absolutely not. And again, I'm not going to sit here and hold briefs for that man. No, seriously, I will never do that. But anyway, Brother Marong, go ahead.
I think just for the record, that's a false equivalency.
I am not.
And that is, hold on.
Musa, why can't you just listen? Why do you always have to?
Why can't you listen? Father.
Because always again, you have to sorry. So I give you the test.
No, Musa, with all jokes.
And I'm a tribalist. How did this tribalist come into this? I'm not going to understand.
Musa, I think the whole.
How did I become a tribalist on this lab?
No, you are not a tribalist. You are not a tribalist. Yeah. Well, I'm saying, know you, who you are, the values you represent. I can say that. No, but one day, my mama Daniel, you don't like question. Di man mange to do for my mama. Il faut nga degluma Father Mos. Understand that? I'm gonna tell one nala. This is very core. No cho. No. Lulu cho be tay de bugu bako de. So no, Musa, I think Coach touched on something which is very fundamental here. And I think IGP forgot that. So one thing, and I saw someone wrote that, and I was laughing. It's public knowledge now. Somehow, the IGP is a brother-in-law to the president, right? And that perception right there. I think if I was in IGP's position today, even coming out there and knowing fully well that Binta wrote that, and Binta's issue was gonna be front and center, I will actually remove myself from the entire process. Maybe I give the IGP, the deputy IGP, to come and answer questions and completely remove myself to give the process the impartiality. Sometimes perception is reality. So if you come here, you make the most critical statement is that somehow you're telling, Baum gave that's a good gesture. Who are you to tell us to pray?
Yeah.
Don't trend, that slogan in the United States says, "Don't trend on me." So you should. That was totally unnecessary. I'm saying. So I think he's getting all the attention he wants. I mean, and I think he tries so hard, to bring sanity to the police station. But this one got lost in the translation. So I give him a pass. He's not perfect.
I agree with what he just said. I think it wasn't smart for him to go up there, be seen as defending what Bahum said. That's not his place. To say whatever the guy said, he has came and apologized. That's not your issue is, like all of you said, if Ibrahim Adiba said something, you went ahead, you thought it was to investigate him. I mean, you're doing the same thing with Bahum. You didn't come there and trying to explain away what Ibrahim Adiba said. But again, like I said, in present day Gambia, being an IGP, I wouldn't want a job if you pay me anything. It would be difficult. I still would like to give Sidi Mokhtar Toure the benefit of the doubt that he will be able to do a good job as IGP.
But
I really do believe that.
You know what, Musa? And I'm glad that in today's Gambia, there is no position that you will take and will not become under fire. Because the issue that we've had is the complacency whatever the word is, that we've had.
Complacency.
Thank you. Complacency. that we've had in our politics is the reason why Gambia is where it is today, where nobody questions anything. And Musa, you see, Mr. Toure's problem, I think, became when he tried to explain away this whole thing.
I think so too.
In fact, even to me, if they had asked me about, if I were the IGP and they asked me about Binta, I would have listened. That's an internal matter. We are handling it internally.
I wouldn't even get into that.
For Mr. Bahu, we are investigating the matter. So we'll tell the people.
I totally agree.
But
Yeah.
The politics of the times, if you are going to react based on what people are going to say, there are a lot of mad people that are out there. They're going to say whatever they're going to say. Everything they see it with the political party prism. For Sidi Mutature to come there trying to talk about what Binta said and this and that, like you said, all he could have said, look, whatever Binta said, we're not even going to talk about that. It's an internal matter and we're going to deal with it internally and leave it at that. But again, coming there trying to justify and even talking about this guy, whether apologize or apologize. I thought he made a
I think it was a mistake. It was a mistake. It was an American.
The police cannot be. If there are laws that are broken, laws are broken.
Yeah.
You cannot be the jury, the judge, and the executioner. It does not happen that way.
Don't get into that.
Yeah, if I break the law, you cannot come and say, "Oh, I'm not coach Bilai Tayuko." No. As the IGP, your job is, you know what? Yeah. He has broken the law. Well, unfortunately, I'm not going to. Why it has to go through the process. Now, the judges can deal with that because it's not his responsibility to determine who is punished by the law. That's not his job. His job is to investigate a matter and then send it to the judiciary where you them see court be. And that's where they have to determine that you are guilty of accused of, or even if they're going to let you go off based on your character, that's where they will do it.
Look at Sol Badji's comment and look at Jukasi's comment. Bobu dina la wax ku dem yonam ak ku demut yonam. The IGP is compromise. Look at the police abuse, drug trafficking, crime is rampant, corruption is going to Mr. Toure needs to resign. Oh, that is bottom line as far as IGP. Look at my Fana sister. IGP is trying to please everyone. And you can easily fall into that, seriously, in these political times. And why he's going to continue to fail. If you want to appease this flank, appease this flank, just do your job. You are competent. I heard your interview on Coffee Time. I see you in action. You have what it takes to be an effective IGP. I understand that. And that he should stick to that. Don't fall for this nonsense. People are going to come feel de la force. Then last second guess fibe elek. Ignore them. Do your job, bro. You have the capacity. You have what it takes.
Be fair, but firm. Be fair,
and follow
but
the
firm.
letter of the law. Do not question.
That's the bottom line, Faramo.
If you are guided by the Constitution and by your oath,
yes.
This is why I've always said, in Gambia, we do not need a president who Amirmande. We don't need a president who Julite. We don't need a president. All these things that you are Kuba. No, you know what we need? Somebody who respects the law. That's it. Because if you respect the law, you're not going to go out of your way and do any excesses. That's it. If you are the IGP, you have an oath to promote, to defend the Constitution of the Gambia without fear, favor, affection, or ill will. Everything that you do in your job must be guided by that principle. What does the Constitution say? Ko dia dafa violate law bini, try him. Did he violate any laws? No. Why are we calling him in for questioning? That's just what it is.
Don't allow the gallery.
So let's see the guy call it. Nela money IGP, Mr. Jawara. Yen you gotta joke. They can get coach the can say what the president bini. This is not fair. So let's joke and them arrest. Keneen wax ko jëgëli fi ñeneen jóg ne arresté nañ kii because lii la waxoon because NPP la arrêté nga ne ok ñu ne xaar ñu jëli
Samba Jaw jógee ne jàppoon nañ kii arresté nañ kii war nañu arrest kii then you make a move. That
so be guided by the Constitution, be guided by the laws, and so all these things will not even be an issue.
Closing statement. IGP is still good IGP. He needs to be given the benefit of the doubt. He keeps doing what he's doing. And Musa, he should not be direct my NPP. I don't know, Lamin Trawale, what you're talking about. Anyway.
No, Musa, and I have to say this. You know me, I'm not a friend with anybody who runs anything, government especially.
Yeah.
I've dealt with the IGP. I speak to all these people behind the scenes. I think he's a good guy. But like you said, and like Juka rightly said, stand for the truth, stand for the Constitution, do what is right, and everything will take care of itself. If you want to satisfy people based on their political thing, and the problem that we have in the Gambia is, you see this nonsense of, what do they call it? this thing from the top.
From the top.
Orders from the top.
Orders
It's still
from the
there.
top, yeah.
Because you will have somebody, a non-entity, who has no business telling you how to run your police, call you and say, what are you guys going to do about it? For the interest of the security, you guys need to do. And then you call your police, they lend money. Investigate it. But that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And by the way, the IGP, we want to know about the central bank money thing. I still have the videos.
Who's that?
The central bank, the guy who was arrested. At
Oh, you mean that was transporting the money to...
Yes.
Yeah.
I still have the videos. I have still the pictures of the police counting the money and everything. And I also have information that there have been attempts to scuttle the investigation. And I hope that you will stand your ground and do what is right by the law and by the Constitution, and let the chips fall where they may. With that, and Musa Li let us a new policy, and Barrow does not want this. They let them go through the confirmation process. That's it. So when it is confirmed by the National Assembly, it's not Barrow's appointee, it's the one that was appointed, whose appointment was endorsed by the National Assembly. Maybe that would even give you a chance to question people and ask. So, but Barrow doesn't want that. Barrow wants a constitutional name. He's like a kid.
No, coach. When he kept saying IGP got what it takes, I said that's a very familiar term, and I will definitely do my APA citation from Coffee Time videos. Please watch it. A familiar term, but it's been great. But also, I must commend the boys coming from Gambia who actually embark on this operation, Tifil Tafal, try to give the hard time to the number one unpopular human being in the entire Gambia. They called him out inside the plane, and when he was moving from one gate to another, they called him out, make him uncomfortable.
I was so
Sirijai. Oh, okay.
Made him uncomfortable.
Giving a dose of the real what Subaru car should get.
So when was this?
I think it was in Belgium or somewhere. You know, Belgium, there is no police below top of that. Yeah, you are this thing. No. So the guy was just telling him how they were how he was helping destroy the country. He did not insult him. He was just telling him exactly who he was. Yeah.
Musa Lamin Tarawale.
Lamin. You're grading down. You man crazy video grading down.
No, why, Musa? I have to give you this. I only hope that we are all as tolerant as you. I've always said this, definitely, because I know you get a lot of beating, but you always, because you are too controversial too. So
he's controversial. But furthermore, coach, last week he was not tolerant. Munema, you getting me mad, and because a couple of cousins text me, they say, "Oh, Saria, man, good job today for the most losses."
But Pasama, there was one issue that I also wanted to talk about. And a while back, during the summer, there was a trip that Boasedi and the entire central bank, they made this trip to the diaspora with Mamadou Dramé. Actually, they called me when they had the meeting in the Gambia. And there is this idea that they want to bring to the diaspora about this project that they want the Gambians to invest in it, especially the ones in the diaspora. So what I told them was, for the meeting to be very, should I say, popular, at least to put it out there, I think you guys should go to Coffee Time, go to Fatu Network, sell it locally, explain to Gambians what this thing is all about. And I'm talking about this thing corner Madina, what is it called? Steam corner, Madina Bar, right? Stariang, I think. That's what they call it.
Mandina Bar, yes.
Mandina Bar.
Yes.
Highway that they wanted the diaspora to basically
Mandina, there's Mandinaring, there's Mandina Bar. I don't know which one. Mandinaring is very close to Banjul.
No, it's
so
not
when you
it's not Mandinaring. It's
the palm groves, when you pass Denton Bridge, I think they should build that road anyways. That would ease up traffic congestion.
So anyway,
but another.
So there is a reason why I'm bringing this thing up. So I'm like, okay, I'll help you guys sell it, especially here in Atlanta, because for me, anytime you want to bring something to the diaspora, especially Atlanta, I want to help you. We sell it because at the end of the day, I mean, that's what I really believe in. They had the meeting at my place, and we provide the snacks, and I mean, and even on this program, I defended based on the information that they put out there. Now, they went to Seattle and they went to other cities. And their thing was they're going to come to the diaspora and sensitize us and say, this is what is in the pipeline. Government wants to make sure that instead of going out there, taking loans to build this, we were not Gambians, especially the diaspora. They even they even went into the statistic. Let's say if every Gambian based on our income, if we do that and that and that and that, very convincing. They came, they went back home. Until today, like my Mboki Fana, and I'm sure Nesarian, you won't understand this, Halimechew. Meaning, the silence is deafening. You had a project, you believe in it, you brought an entire central bank, including the governor, and your experts. You have meetings in different cities. My friend, this is to sensitize the Gambian people. You went back home, and all we hear is silence. Boy, what was this about?
Read Saul's comment. Saul has an answer for you.
Camouflage? Was this? What was this about? Why the silence? I even tried calling him to say, okay, what's up with this? But I also believe that I'm going to come to the same platform and basically publicly ask the question, were you guys just talking? I mean, what is this about?
I can tell you what it is. Musa.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say meeting. I did not even bother to attend those meetings. And I understand, and this has nothing to do with you anyway. But these people, they are more interested in per diems that they pay them than working for the people, Musa. Because the biggest joke is that all that expenditure, and they will not account for it. Because I've not seen anywhere where they went to the Gambian people and say, you know what, we expense this much during this thing, and these are the expected rewards. They are not serious. They don't take us seriously. And I don't even think they think about these things very closely. So they organize these meetings, and this is what they do in the Gambian, Musa. Do you know how many meetings they organize, conferences? What the hell ever come out of it? Nothing. Because that's what it is. They would go, they would say all these lofty things. You were very impressed by these people and some of the things that they were saying. And maybe they were Gambians who said, you know what, let's just invest our money in this. But no, that was not what they were interested in. They've been paid their per diems. They've been paid their impress. Chances are no impress was retired either. All right? They made their money. Can you imagine? The government flies you, pays for your air ticket. You come here, they put you in a nice hotel. You go to, Musa would put you in this nice Hilton hotels. You eat nice food. You get paid per diem, you go back with your dollar, maybe buy your sadomi nga jëndal leen naka la tudda yóbbal and the side chicks and all those things nga buy jëndal leen yóbbal and yóbbal. That's the end of it. They're done. Because you know what? People do not hold our leaders to account. In any serious country, by now we would have known how much was invested in this whole project that they're trying to sell. But nobody would know that because they are not serious. They don't respect us. And for the diaspora, thank you very much. They do not respect. They would just come. We are the cash cows. They come here and do all this nonsense of, so-called investment tour or whatever. And that's just the end of it. They don't care. You care too much, Musa. They don't. Because you know why you care too much? You were doing it because of Gambia and you have no nakalatura. It's like you don't have anything at stake. And when I see that in that, what will benefit you personally? But this government, how many people came? I think the whole central bank must have come.
That's almost 10 of them.
10 of them.
From the central bank.
Okay, no, hold on. 10 of them. Each one of them, it would have cost the Gambia government no less than $1,600 for air ticket. All right? At least. So in total, maybe they just travel. Gambia government would have spent over $16,000 just for their air tickets. And chances are, Boa would sit, what do they call that? Where the bosses sit in the planes? First class.
Oh, business class.
Because he's the business class. So you pay them per diems. They will earn at least how many £100 a night? At least 200 or whatever pounds a night. How long have they been here? And they travel from state to state to state. And every state they go to, we buy air tickets for them, Gambia government coffers, to go to these places. So when everything is said and done, they would have spent everything, nothing less than $100,000. This is just my own projection. And then you finish with that, and $100,000, you're talking about almost $7 million on a trip. That, when was this? This was over a year ago. Wasn't it a year?
No, do you?
Around July 4th. When was it?
Yeah, this is just a few months ago.
Well, it's been so long. But you've not said anything. Like Juka said, they could have done it on Zoom.
No, Osama, I don't have a problem with what they did. Because to me, Zoom, I get it, Juka. But based on the thinking, is the idea that we want to do this. This is a huge, major asset. So for me, the idea, the amount of work that was put into it for them to come to the diaspora, because their thinking is, look, based on remittances that is sent into the Gambia, we believe that instead of taking loans, if we go to the diaspora and they invest in this. So for me, coming here, talking to us directly, answering questions, Juka, there is nothing wrong with that. But the sad thing is, and this is very sad, because Boa, I listened to him one time, and this is what he said. We're coming to sensitize and tell you what we are thinking. When we go back home, he said, there was an entity that was created within the central bank. They will be responsible for developing these shares. They will tell us how much it's going to cost. But since then, nothing. We haven't heard a thing.
And
so
you know what's going to happen with that?
Boa and the central bank.
You know what's going to happen?
What was this? What was this all about? And there's somebody who's saying that, see, for me, it wasn't like they duped me. No, they did not. Because man, dollars are dugalumakuchi. All I was saying is the idea is brilliant. If it can be pursued by people who are committed, it can be done. It can be done. I still believe that the idea is realistic. I still believe that it can be done. It's a source of funding.
You know what's going to happen?
I still believe in that. But what I don't, I never believed in them. All I did was give them the benefit of the doubt. But not that I believe in them. There were technocrats that were part of the team. The minister of, what's his name? Mbai Boy.
Yep.
Mbai was there. I mean, there are people who really do know what they are talking about. So I have to believe that, okay, maybe this is something that we should be open to. Now, to me, it says a lot about them more than anybody else.
Can I tell you something, Musa?
You
Can I tell
want
you a
that?
story?
Mhm.
It's going to by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. You'll hear a press release from them telling you what they are planning to do. Because that's what they do. They're so
Exactly. And that's the reason why I am raising it. Because don't you fini, wax ma li nga wax ba pare. All right? And then you just go back as if nothing happened or decided to take it to some other investor. And then you know what? The diaspora, anybody who comes here and says that the diaspora, they are not serious, I'll tell you to go mangi or. Because you sensitize us. You said this. You don't know. I mean, there are people, diaspora, I mean, we're not a monolithic group. I'm not your hamne, they didn't even give you the time of day.
Thank you, Labi Tarawale.
Huh?
Labi Tarawale like that. Increase the ratings to 25%.
So Lamin, I'm working on that. But my whole thing is I want them to, by tomorrow, like you said, I mean, they're going to give us answers. Go ahead, Sariang. Let me listen to my sister. All right.
You are their consultant. I mean,
the unofficial consultant. No, you see, we Hamga Musa, and this again.
Hey, this is great. Hey, no. This is what was the acronym, Musa, that you guys were selling to folks? Something purpose vehicle. What was it? What was it, man? There was an acronym for it, man.
Yeah, there is something purpose vehicle there. What is it, Musa?
Yeah, special whatever purpose vehicle. No, you're on mute. You're on mute.
It is. they will come back.
Their chief consultant, chief strategist.
Yeah, they will call Peter Gomez and go there and say, Peter, we went to the diaspora, we were working on the logistics. We are at the tail end of it. Because that's what they do. They are just it's just like the draft constitution. When they didn't say anything. And something I said to Peter, the next thing they were, we are gazetting it's like a bunch of people who sit there, and I don't even think they know why they go to offices.
So no, why Pasamba? That is the very reason.
No, and I appreciate that.
I am raising this issue because dofi muna ñew wax ñu fi wax ju reuy and then you go back and xali méccew lu fana la lolu Pasamba sa digu ken degatu dara as if ne because man waron na deglu by now the department whatever entity you said was created within the central bank. All right? Get in touch with people and say, okay, this thing is developing. Go to coffee time. Go to GRTS. This is what we are doing. Make more clarifications. Get the diaspora involved. That's what serious people would do. Don't want them wreck and then just keep quiet. Now, I'm not going to sit here and think that all you were doing, this is just for the per diem. No, Pastor, it has to be a lot more than that, my friend. Just per diem. That's it.
Okay, let me tell you something, Musa.
And this whole thing was just for per diem?
No, really? Here is the thing. No, even if it was I think Nyom sent, this is what I want to believe. Their interest was more on the per diem than in this. Because, Musa, you cannot go and take the whole damn central bank, every leadership from the central bank, put them on a plane. You saw send Suti send Haftani. All right. How many cities did they visit? They came to DC. They went to New York. They went to even Seattle. They went to Atlanta. They went to Dallas. I think Dallas. I think Minnesota too. I don't know how many cities. They went to all the cities and visited and talked, and nothing came out of it. So to me, they have sent Yangi face there. Who do we have as a guest?
No, Smagaila, Baromos Go Club Bila, Juka Sise.
They were helping you there. They were helping you, Temo.
ñun ñoko dé farlé waye mom bëggul ñu mom dafa fake ci ñun mom bëggul ñu mom ñun ñoko dé farlé waye he doesn't like us, we know that. It's okay, we don't care.
No, why not? Wala ya wal pasa de ma ne ko am na benn affaire bu ma xam ci Barrow must go. I am telling you, when I see your ads, I told Pasamba, gars yi nag seen affaire yi dafa effective de.
Oh, the beef. So
They
you're
are
seeing
very,
the beef now.
they are very creative.
We still remember what ñu xasee. We still remember. Nga ne suñ ndawal bi amul ndaw xaw ma noo ko waxee.
Where's the
Nga ne
beef?
amul beef.
Did you call it? Whose commercial did you call it, sir? The Wendy's commercial?
Wendy's commercial.
Where's the beef?
Waaw ana beef. Ñu ngi ut beef bi ba léegi gisuñ ko. Waaye ok nuyu naa leen yéen ñëpp ak ñi seetaan. Léegi Musa,
Yes.
do you want to tell me ne da nga toog fii di advocate for these people pour ñu jox leen suñ xaalis bi?
Not necessarily. Xam nga li ma advocate on mooy bi gars yi ñëwee mooy ne, and the way they said it, this is what we intend to do. We want to build a highway just like APS bi gars yi def in Senegal from Steam Corner to Medina Bar, and instead of taking loans, we believe that we want the diaspora to be part of this.
Léegi ñu ñoo war a invest suñ xaalis bi pour ñoom ñu develop dëkk bi. Déglu ma ñun nga xam ne mënuñoo vote ñun faalewuñ ñu ne ñun dañ fi nekkuñ fi dara ñun amuñ sax lu mu wax mu ne ñun naka lan la ñu wax ne loolu lañ am ngundi ganaar sax amuñ ko moom Barrow moo ñu waxoon loolu so ñun diaspora bi ñun ñoo war a invest pour ñu defal tali yooyu ñoom seen tali yi nga xam ne yow gis nga Musa ok on a serious note yow soo demee ba nga xam ne da ngay ñëw nga laaj nit yi pour ñu invest xaalis si sa project yi now show me your first projects yi nga xam ne moom nga njëkk a isi si réew mi ñi si investoon ak ñaata lañ si investoon ak yow level yi liggéey bi lan mooy outcome bi lan nga ñu won si li nga xam ne moom mooy project yi nga xam ne moom nga jëloon loolu Musa Barton Harding highway bi mu ngi noonu how much money went into that $100 million for 22 kilometers of road now and that is a loan léegi yow nga ne yow da nga bëgg man ma ñëw man ma invest suma xaalis si loo xam ne 22 kilometers yow yaa ngi si dugal 100 million and recently they got another grant for 40 million pour ñu ne phase 3 imagine phase 1 phase 2 ñu ne phase 3 la ñoo def si for 40 million so now you want to tell me that same 22 kilometers of road you are spending $140 million on that road project for 22 kilometers each kilometers is about $4.5 million foo gisee loolu si àdduna bi boo demee Google tey nga seet highway si nekk fii nii si àdduna si west bi ñaata lañ dee spend si seen highway si par kilomètre comme loo xam ne nekkut comme highway yu ñu dee am ni kon ñun soo ko équivalenté to ñun nga compare ko ak ñun suñ project bi biñ am suñ tali yu ñu am xaalis bi gars yi di spend si road si nii is unbelievable then nga dem si beneen bu OIC project bi boobu they gave them a loan for 50 million for 50 kilometers of road okay initially loolu moo nekkoon ñoom li nga xam ne loolu lañ laajte ñu approve ko and guess what they ended up spending according to Ibrahima Silla mu ne 79 million for that 22 kilometers of road make this make sense 22 kilometers yow nga spend 79 when your budget was initially 50 million right ba léegi road boobu noonu jeexagut project boobu jeexagut keroog maa ngi gis am na ko ñu yónnee vidéo ñu ngi wane gars yi concrete lañ defaree tali bi day xaw ma boori Fatna area bi naka la tudda de waaye soo gisee li fa mel ni yow yaa jël sa ciment rek nga ciment ko ba mu egg rek ñu ne loolu mooy tali yeah so léegi yow those are your projects before and those are loans that you took right but now you want to come and then nga present loolu to me because you're not just going to come and tell me, oh, it's a beautiful idea. You are in the diaspora. You should invest back in your country, blah, blah, blah. No, show me your projects before, right? Show me how much you got for it and what you accomplished from that money, right? Before you even know about anything, invest we don't even have the access to vote. You vote. Respect anything about diaspora bi all they need the diasporans is pour ñu la jóg di leen xeexal ba pare ñu jóg di invest suñu xaalis it's actually laughable ne even ñoom xalaat nañ sax pour ñëw si diaspora bi ne ñu ngee laajte xaalis pour ñun ñu defar seen tali when in fact you took loans that we also have to pay suñ tax me and then you told me Musa nga ne actually there's nothing wrong with them flying here yes there is a lot of things wrong with that am na benn parliamentarian bu leen ko waxoon xaw ma fàttali naa turam mu ne leen you should not expect to develop this country outside of this country, meaning you cannot keep going outside of this country pour nga ut xaalis grants loan but yow doo pour nga toog fii nii sax nga develop project yi sax yow mënuloo koo def. And I believe lu uncle coach wax ne ñoom padiem yi ak ñoom liñ si bugga because su fekkoon ne du loolu Musa, they would follow through on the project, they would follow up. Why how yow yaa ko wax sa bopp nga ne following up sax. What a shame. You've been here 6 months ago. You cannot even follow up. Punga said. And the idea na yo da nga ñew fi sax nga ne yow bena yow di nga isi about 10 people ñu duga si ay first class ñu fail and padiem ñu travel from state to state to state and then you believe na yo the people ñi nga ñew solicit they will give you that money. It's ludicrous. Ban diaspora moy gene sa xaliss nga ne yang ko jox nguuri Adama Barrow pour ñu tabax ay tali. You must be like mad. Man ma jël suma xaalis ma dem saraxe ko sax si naka la tuddaate sax ma dem sànni ma ne ko si homeless shelter yi ma saraxe suma xaalis sax moo ma génn ma dem jox ko government bi ñu ne ñu ngi defar ay tali. Seriously.
Yeah.
I cannot believe you buy into that project there, Musa. I cannot believe it.
Sugar.
A corruption bi
I mean, I cannot sit here and rebut anything that you have said. Seriously. I mean, you are absolutely right. But lima moine, under serious people, under a serious government that committed to leadership and development of a country of 2.5 million, the idea is a hell of an idea. It can work. For Gambians in the diaspora to take their thousands and thousands of dollars and buy shares into and invest in something like this, that they could own shares, that can be done. And I attended the meeting. Man, for people to think that I wasn't even skeptical, that's not even very fair. I was equally skeptical. August was at the meeting as well. We were there. People were asking the questions. I still remember the question that I asked was, okay, and this is when my boy jumped in. Manalen, you just had a deal with the Africa 50 for $100 million. Why couldn't you take that money, at least that money, and invest it in this Medina Bar Road? That was the question that I asked. So for me, the point that I'm trying to make is, if someone, I mean, a government comes and said, this is what we are working on, let's meet, I'm willing and open to listen. But my friend, am I going to just sit down and them sa talk, and then I'm just going to sit and say, okay, it is what it is. No, I am going to come to the same place, and I'm going to say, okay, you came here and this is what you said. Since you went back, I haven't heard anything. What happened to all the proposals that you put out here? Was that a joke? I mean, am I going to sit here and say they were just doing it because they want per diem rec? I think it's much deeper than that. There's not more to it. It's either sheer incompetence or the deal was given to someone else. It has to be. Because as far as I know, that project is still on. So what happened to us buying shares into this? And Juga, I got you. I mean, looking at Nissan record, why would any diaspora want to invest? I mean, government be in whatever they're doing. I mean, I get that. That's a question, and a legitimate question that can be asked. But again, as a funding source, if you are to make me president tomorrow, I'm going to my fana sister, you're going to be one of my advisors, even though, and I'm did she hang up? This is gone. This is something that I would want to explore and bring in people that have the capacity, understand what I mean, and work on something like this, because I think it's doable. But this was all another way of just trying to impress the diaspora that, you know, they're doing something. I mean, we were not born yesterday. And I met these people. I mean, we sat down. I mean, these are nice people. I mean, you will glean that they're committed to what they're saying. So, I'm hoping upon hope that you will either come back to this program and let's tell us where we are with this. I mean, I'm going to continue to reach out to you. I'm going to continue to reach out to my boy because you guys were here. And you tell us what happened to the proposal. Or was it just all talk? Or did you decide to go a different way? But please, well, the diaspora, you guys are not serious. That's why we decided to take it a different direction. I think that would be very dishonest, Bilai. Anyway.
Ramos.
Yes, sir.
Chief consultant for SPV.
So I'm a joke sometimes. Why back? You reduced to me being a joke.
Man living fini ndausi mune ma Allahi mani iftar. Mare ko li mo correct de? Li moy correct. Li moy yon bi. Ha dega nga lolu Musa Jeng.
Did I missed that.
Mane ndausi mune ma Allahi mani. Mane ko Allahi mani. Allahi mani iftar. Ham nga deglo lolu.
Iftar I know.
Allahi mani.
Okay, what is that?
What do you want for iftar? Mane ko limo.
Oh, what do I am nga sariyang ñun borom jabar lañ so do ñu laaj lolu ñi ngay laaj lolu kay mo ñoo xamé ni ñangi compter mais kañ lañuy indi sédi ñoom mu ne guñu compter ben sax ñoom kenn du leen togal iftar dem ba ma wax ak moom mu ne ma damay dem duggi marché togg peng-peng
Lola Faramos xam nga li daal
no you know what happened, Sariang? So for the past 5 weeks I was in this place in Harrisonburg. All I ate is like from this is Texas Roadhouse, this restaurants thing, this steak thing. Oh my God, I was so tired of it. I'm like, you know what? So yesterday, as soon as I'm going straight to the Korean store to get me my fish, you know, and you know the pompano, you know, and cook the best nakalatura. What is it called? Peng peng.
Oh yeah,
and it was good. I was longing for that. I'm like, I cannot.
So you cooked it, Pasamba?
Oh yes.
No, pompano is good. Pompano is good.
No, pompano I think is the best. You know. And you know, peng peng is so easy to cook. You know, the difference between you and I know how to cook. You don't.
Kay ma waxal la de fa nga juumee nak ku nekk ci réewi tubaab for 15 to 20 years di togal boppam bi foofu takki jabar boo demee bu lu ko xamuloo li ngay wax de. If you see me,
your man Adu Mbai said he's still waiting for Honorable Ibrahim Silla. No,
yes. In fact, I talked
Adu,
to
you
Adu.
have to lean. You have to call coach and tell coach to bring Ibrahim Silla because they always put off Musa. They make appointment with him last minute. You know, Faramos will change our mind. And mom, do they listen? Boy, the negotiation skill being a poor. You gotta get coach on the mission. You know.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, you have to call coach. I mean, I know Musa is your pal from Atlanta, man, but you know what? You know, it is what it is, man. You know.
So our boy, what's his name, Sol Baji. In all seriousness, Coach Pasamba Jau Kanja, the Gambia diaspora can easily pay out Africa 50 today and fund the Gambia bridge management and make a lot of profit as investors. and Saul be like, man, I'm not even saying that what you're saying is ridiculous. It can be done. Absolutely no doubt about that. You know? I mean, can we do Lulu? In other words, you're saying we can do it on our own. Why, Saul, Ben a question, Renga Wara Lach Sabopa. You are a strong supporter of the PPP government. This is the same government. You have to remember, all of these state-owned enterprises, they used to be government departments. From Gamtel, this was during the telecoms days. Gambia Port Authority, it was during the time of Marine. So these were government departments.
No, they must NTC. This is your time, Musa. Just go back.
NTC.
Just tell right.
So there were times when we did not have public enterprises. They were government departments. A decision was made, smart decision. Now, you know what? If we are to improve service delivery, if we are able to build institutions that are viable, that even they will be able to pay a dividend to government, we need to explore this route. Let's build public enterprises that are independent on the board of directors and take it out of government. Bloated government with the bureaucracy. That was the thinking. People were open and said, wow, Saul, under your PPP government, enterprise after enterprise, badly managed. What do you have to say to that? Jamenyo Jekalilen. Gamtel sax mo ci doon xorxoral a little bit during the time of Amina Bakari Njai. In other words, you create entities that were under government, and then you said, okay, let's manage it ourselves. Let's create public enterprises. We have absolutely nothing to show for it. That is why I am very open with the idea that maybe PPP may be an option. Now, if you have the right government, an efficient government, a committed government, honest government, we should be able to run our own ports. We should be able to run our own Senegambia Bridge. We should be able to run our own Gamtel. I get that. I really do. But going all the way back to your government, PPP, the party that you support, you think they're the best things in sliced bread. The whole idea, it hasn't worked. Service delivery, zoom. Access to water, nothing to show for it. That is why people are open to the idea that maybe bringing the private sector may not be a bad idea. Lolarek. But again,
if you listen to these capitalists,
the devil is in the details. Lolo mom dega bu wér la. Because we also have dishonest
now you've gotten Ibrahim Kejawara asking you what enterprises were badly managed. Now you've gotten the PPP guys out. So
let me uncle on your case too. Fode Singate and Kebaji Nyanko.
In fact, I read somewhere today that the PPP, whatever they call them, they've ruled that
Board of Trustees.
The Board of Trustees, they've ruled that Madike is the rightful leader of the party. Maybe Musa's friend from Atlanta. You know these Atlanta folks, and send they love Ngur. Maybe it would just do the honorable thing and let this thing slide. You know, because it doesn't even make sense.
You mean the brother Keba on coffee time?
You know what? It's neither here nor there. It doesn't even make sense. This whole thing.
Keba was making an argument small while back. I have a soft spot for him.
Yeah, one day
he's a nice guy.
He has contributed immensely to the chain. Very consistent. Done a lot of great things, going all the way back to 2001. I mean, he's been when even the PPP folks were flouting with Jame, Keba Jallow never did.
No,
and I think
they would not let him.
Yeah, Keba needs to,
was very committed.
Really, I think he needs to find a way. He said good things about the Madike Fall, that he's a nice guy.
No, what Madike is doing, sir, that's what the PPP needs. Because
what he needs to do is engage him. If you listen to the interview, he said the two-man guys, even the back and the Davos. I think PPP, their best bet is, difficult as it may be, the road that they travel, is for them to get together with this young guy, BB, two-man guy, get together and said, okay, how do we fix this? How do we, the very party that brought independence to the Gambia, the very party, when Bufa Dara Nekudon, Dara Nekufa, after the colonialists left, there was nothing in the Gambia. They took it over and they did the best they could do.
Including bankrupting this thing within 15 years of becoming. Okay. No, go ahead.
Like OJ used to say, there was no central bank, we built central bank. There was no highway from Birka to, when it used to take you 5 hours to travel to Kaur.
You would know that. Well, C60s, yeah, you were traveling the road. Go ahead.
I'm on a roll. In Kaur, from Kaur to Farafenye, Allah lawon, yon amuton. PPP brought what they call Wimpy, and they built roads. There were things that they'd have done.
What is Wimpy?
Wimpy was the name of the company.
Now, this is Musa 101, history 101.
PPP under Jawara, they've done a lot. They've made some serious mistakes as well. All right? But they've also done a lot because what they inherited was a country that was only within the colonial and Kombosen, under the colony and Kombosen Marys. Everything else was hell. I mean, you won't even call it something that you're gonna, I mean, it was PPP that were able to build structures. It was PPP. They really did quite a few things. They really did.
We'll bust now. When you're now sounding like Jamie.
I'm sounding like who?
Jamie.
Sagangamanak.
No, why, Musa? Before we go, I know you're not interested in this.
Why you say that?
I know you. The National Council for Civic Education was created with the sole objective of teaching Gambians about their civic duties, civic responsibility, and everything that is civic. All right?
My Lord.
To what I saw that institution's logo, the flag itself that they have, same logo, is the wrong flag, wrong dimensions. And Musa, when I see these people say, here he goes again. But I'm thinking that if you cannot get right the flag itself, and your duty is to teach people about the flag, what it means, and all that things, then we have a problem. You may be wrong. You can get it wrong. But I don't think especially the civic education, National Civic Education Council, or whatever they call them, to get it wrong. To me, I have serious problems with it. And I'm going to engage them.
Pazama.
Yo.
Yeah, you're either a very bad teacher or you have a problem with, like, should I say, was it Obama that said that if you bring Clinton and give him a job of director of Mr. Explainer? I've known you for quite a while. Either I'm dumb, you've explained this flag to me with dimensions, but I understand. And I'm not the only one. Even good old Mustafa Dabo, your guy. Pata PJ, your guy. Nopal ñu ak sa dimension yi, my friend. Ken xamul li ngay wax.
But it's easy, Musa.
Ken xamu ko, ken understand ko.
No,
I don't make a 1 inch. Bu red bi dafa wara nek half an inch. Bu green bi dafa wara nek 2 inches. Why nopal ñu, my friend?
The ratio is 6:1,416.
Money buñu sonal. Who understand lolu? Sorry, do you understand his argument about this dimension of the flag? About you? Sariang. Bro, are you distracted?
He is muted. Okay, he is talking, but he is muted.
Anyway. Pasama. Anyway, bro, what time is it? 4:13.
I sent something to you on your phone. Check it.
We got 2 hours to go, for iftar.
But anyway, let's call it a day. But my flag thing, Musa, you will not understand because you don't want to understand it. But
no.
It's simple.
Hold on.
It's easy.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's just easy, Musa. What it is saying easily. Let's say the red is 6 centimeters. All right. The green is supposed to be the same size. The blue would be 4 centimeters. And the white, each of the whites would be 1 centimeter. That's just what it is. So if you put the blue and the whites together, they are supposed to equal the red and the green in size. the blue can never be and should never be the same size as the red and the green. Or the white should also never be in the same size as any of the other colors. And what the white stands for, because when they were the designer, when they were thinking about this was, you know what, the Gambia, we are talking about the River Gambia. We have two banks, the North Bank and the South Bank. So what we are saying is now the whites are supposed to represent the North and the South Bank of the river. That's just it. So that's the rationale. I saw Nakalatura. Dembo, that's the rationale. The rationale behind it is the white and the blue are supposed to be part of the River Gambia because they form the banks of the Gambia. So that's why the blue would be the small strip of the river, 4 inches. And the whites, each of the whites would be 1 inch to make up the 6 inches that the red is and the green is. You know, so I don't know whether that makes sense. I don't think they must have learned past math a lot in class, even though I hate math like that. But that's the whole thing. So to me, Musa, my argument is this. Either we get it right or let's just go and amend it and say, you know what, from now on, the dimensions do not matter. That's it. But we cannot say that this is what the flag is supposed to be and cannot get it right, especially when the president is there. My Guinea-Bissau, the flag that they were flying, Buki Deme Fofuno, was the wrong flag. That's my thing. The American flag without 50 stars is not the
all
American
of us are just bunch of dummies.
No.
We don't do good math. Or
no,
maybe,
you don't want to hear it. I know you. You're not interested in it.
Because it's neither here nor there. Because it's not like we're taking the red out and putting yellow. It's not like we're taking the white out and putting another color.
Thank you very much, Sal.
The colors are the same.
No, Musa, but it's not. It's just like the American flag.
So
it has to have 50 stars.
So, Councillor, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no, the American flag has 50 stars and 13 stripes. If the American flag should have 49 stars, it's not the American flag.
No, Dubena. The analogy is not the same.
What is not the analogy?
You're talking about dimensions. You're talking about inches. It's not like, it's not like, no, it's not the same.
Okay, the reason why our flag is like that, if the dimensions are wrong, the flag is wrong. That's just what it is.
Okay, I'll talk to Dr. Barrow. We need to have a new position, a job, director of policing of the flag.
Golden State House. I spoke to them about this. I spoke to everybody that I could talk to in that country.
Yeah, you are very right. Coach, very civic minded. We
can just change the flag,
It's been a good show. There is always the interaction. That's why I fight. People are fighting like nobody's business.
Yeah, that guy, they are on it, so they are going after each other. So which is nice.
People are duking it out.
So now,
Coach, but I was gonna ask Father Mose, what is the symbol of the red, white, blue, white, green?
I don't know.
What does the color code?
Manala, smart teacher B. He hasn't done a very good job.
No. Even Naigiski, Dembo Fati.
Dembo Fati?
The historian. Because even the red, Sibopam, they will say, the sun, Sibopam. Because the red, the reason why you have red in most of the African flags is because of the struggle that Africans waged for independence. That's just pretty much its representation. All right?
Yeah.
So the whites is not necessarily peace. The whites are for the banks of the Gambia, the river banks, the southern bank and the northern bank of the river. The blue is the river. The green represents agriculture.
Okay, so we got the flag right. So what the hell now? What's your problem?
The dimensions.
The dimensions, bro. Giselo Juka, people that really like you very well. Hangalalalawa. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting because
can I tell you what that means? when somebody nga wax sa wax ba pare ñu ne la that's
Musa Bail Jahase, you can
loolu
say.
waxuloo dara.
No, pa naka sa waji Omar Loum. No, Omar Loum. The
Hey,
blue is the
no,
river.
Omar Loum kooku duma lay wax waxam.
The green agriculture.
Mu ne
The
lan?
whites are not necessarily for peace. The whites represent the north and southern bank.
So mu ne Pa Samba, red is the sun, what is for peace, blue for river, green for agriculture. That's what Omar Loum is saying. So Omar Loum, I want to bring you on this program, mano a mano. We need to take, because you're on my case every Sunday. I want to elevate that. You're going to come right here, live and direct. And then we will duke it out. But bro, it's always interesting to come here every Sunday and talk about issues. We got to do that. And my closing, Pap Samba, would be again coming back to the Constitution. I'm appealing to Mr. Dabo. I'm appealing to Barrow. And I'm appealing to all the stakeholders to give our country a chance. Let's allow this to go past the second reading. Let's get it to the committee level. Let's agree to disagree. We need that as a country. We have to be able to hit that reset button. We cannot go into 2026 under the 1997 Constitution. We cannot. We should do whatever it takes to avoid that. And I'm hoping upon hope. Because you see, gis nga li gëna yomba, and I'm going to say this, li gëna yomba for a politician is to take a position that would basically appease your base. Mo gëna yomba. Bi gëna difficult moy to turn around and take a position. Now, you know what? Okay, I'm going to give this a chance. I hope Barrow should be able to do that and say, you know what? After what I hear from Gambians, we are willing to do whatever it takes to make the necessary changes. And with that, his legacy will be preserved as far as the Constitution is concerned. Because people did not die and give their life away for the past 20-something years just for the continuation of the same old, same old. We wanted something different. And every Gambian, I'm not going to say most reasonable, because Sarian say, can I go for that? Most reasonable. So I'm not going to say that. But I think each and every one of us should do whatever it takes to allow the process to take place and put pressure on our National Assembly members so that the changes can be done. And with that, we will be able to hit that reset button, go into a referendum where Gambians will participate and a new constitution will be ushered in before 2026. If we do that, we will have term limit as an insurance policy in our back pocket, Brother Marong. I know you like that. We will have 50+1 in our back pocket as well. And with that, and the protection of fundamental rights of every Gambian. We need a new beginning. And it takes leaders to make the hard decision for stuff like this to happen. History will be the judge. And again, with this word core, yalla ci yalla japp. Inshallah, we will be back next Sunday. Yal nañ ko ñun ñëpp fekkee, and all you guys that are watching. Sarian, you just sent me a picture of a guy who passed away, supposedly here in Atlanta. I don't recognize the face, but yal na ko yalla xaray ajana, and we said condolences to his loved ones. I just saw the picture right now.
Yeah, I saw it on Palm Modu, so he's from Brikama, so.
Sorry.
Yeah,
But
your soundbite is great. I wish you could personally record one and send it to the higher echelon.
Mhm.
the national November Papa Party headquarters, because I think it would be very beneficial for them.
Mhm.
All I have to say now about what you said, Musa,
Mhm.
Mr. Attorney General, we draw the bill because it's not going to pass. Don't waste our time. Don't waste the people's time and resources.
Yep.
Let's go back to the drawing board. We have enough time to narrow the differences and come up with a bill that will be going to the that will be gazetted with the full support of almost all the players. If you guys are interested in having a constitution, do that. Otherwise, just do what you want to have as form of compliance, because the EU is asking what is happening with the draft, all these other institutions. With that, all I want to say, if you are a Gambian and anybody who lives in the United States, American citizen, tells you that your president is clueless, insult them. Because America has officially the most clueless president and vice president. Mr. Barrow is not even in their league. I think Mr. Barrow is a far better president than Adama Barrow, than Donald Trump. But that's just my opinion. Well, anyway.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, my brother.
You did great, very well today, So
Well, at least I improved according to Tarawale from 10 to 25. So moving on up. So there is hope.
To the east side.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right, man.
All right, thanks.
Where the hell is this damn thing?